What up, Whiskey Ginger fans? Welcome back to the show. If this is your first time joining us, please subscribe to the show. Tell a friend. Help us out, okay? We're just trying to spread the word of this wonderful show today. My guest is Greg Fitzsimmons. I love this dude to death. He is a beautiful, sweet little man who I can fit in my back pocket. Tiny in stature, huge in status in the comedy community. We love him so very much. And he was super fun to riff with. As far as myself goes, can't tell you guys what's going on with touring. It's really tough right now. We're figuring out dates. We're reconfiguring the entire schedule. As you know, we can't help it. But good news, we got that merch, baby. We got that brand new merch. This Whiskey Ginger shirt, amongst other Whiskey Ginger shirts and hat and whiskey highball glass with my mug on it, is available now at andrewsantinostore.com. So go to andrewsantinostore.com and support your boy and also the Whiskey Ginger team and crew that helps put together this wonderful show for you. So go there, check it out. Also go to andrewsantino.com if you want any other piece of information about me, including our Patreon, which is up, hot, and running. We're doing a bunch of solo Cheeto chats, one-on-ones with fans. It's super interactive. It's got all sorts of goodies on there. So go to the Patreon and or go to andrewsantinostore.com and pick up some merch. Support the crew so we can keep supporting you with laughs. All right, friends, to the episode. Whiskey Ginger fans, it's summertime. Got to protect them eyeballs from the sunshine, baby doll. You want a good pair of sunglasses that aren't that expensive and that you can get back if you lose them or break them for free? Yeah, Shady Rays are the shades, man. They're some of the best eyewear I've ever had in my entire life. They're super affordable. And if you lose them or break them, leave them at a friend's house, leave them at the beach, give them to somebody else, leave them in somebody's car. A million ways to lose sunglasses, as everybody knows. Shady Rays doesn't care how it happened. They'll give you a pair for free. They are a high-quality company. It's far less expensive, and their warranty is by far the best, like I told you. They're totally independent, which I think is the way to go, my friend. They're not some big corporate company that's selling you overpriced stuff. They're giving you something for your money. Totally worth it. Also, they're a good company, man. They provide 10 meals to fight hunger in America with every order placed. They've provided over 10 million meals to this very date. I stand behind the product because I really like it, and I think they do good things. And also, if you lose them or break them, dude, they'll just give you a new one. What a good deal. Come on, man. What do you want? Go to ShadyRays.com for 50% off 2 or more pairs. Go to ShadyRays.com and type in that promo code WHISKEY. You know what it is. That's the only way to get some cool shades for your eyeballs with the protection that they need to look cool in the summertime. Go to ShadyRays.com. Use the promo code WHISKEY for 50% off 2 or more pairs.
In here, we pour whiskey, 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 whiskey.
You were that creature in the ginger beard.
Sturdy and ginger.
Like vampires, the ginger gene is a curse.
Gingers are beautiful.
You owe me $5 for the whiskey and $75 for the horse.
Gingers? Oh, hell no.
This whiskey is excellent.
Ginger. I like gingers.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Whiskey Ginger. My guest today is one of my favorite people on earth. I say that for all my guests, but I mean it once again today. It's Greg Fitzsimmons, the Fitz dog. Hey, baby.
Do you say that about all your guests?
Every single one of them, yeah.
Well, why else would we fucking be here? You don't have to have
I don't have anybody I don't
guest
want.
every 5 years. You can have, if you like somebody, you're going to have them once a month.
Yeah, but I've only repeated a few people. I'm trying to get through slowly and carefully. Oh, I don't think I've ever had someone on the show that I actually don't enjoy. Truthfully. And I know you've had people on your show that you don't enjoy.
Absolutely. I just had one the other day that I didn't enjoy.
Can you tell me what it was?
It wouldn't matter. He's
Yeah.
a guy from England.
But you didn't enjoy him in
Did not enjoy him at all, Anthony. It was literally...
I'm Andrew.
Andrew.
It doesn't matter.
I
so far we're off to a good start.
And I only go on podcasts of people that I really care about. He was this guy who I got hit up by his publicist, which is always a bad start.
Yeah, why'd you say yes?
Because that same publicist then came to me with a fucking amazing guest later.
So it's a give and a take, yeah.
So a little give and a take.
All right.
But this guy, he had a little... I don't want to get too into depth about who it is because I don't want to out him.
Well, we're going to know. Go listen to Fitz's fucking podcast. We can figure it out.
But, I mean, the entitlement. The lack of, like... Let me dance a little bit. Give me a little dance.
Is it British entitlement or just him himself?
British.
Right,
I
that comes with the territory.
British.
Yeah.
Hate the British.
I know. Yeah, I mean, they do this thing where even if they're dumb, they're smarter than you.
Yes.
That bothers me.
Yep.
You're not smarter than me just because you're British. Just because I sound dumb to you,
Yeah.
doesn't mean you're smarter than me.
You having a better vocabulary is just a function of the fact that you spent less time outside playing sports and having fun.
That's exactly right. With people, you
Yeah.
didn't meet, because the more people you meet, the more you pick up dialects and you change the way you speak because you get more cultured.
Right.
So to me, they think we're uncultured. We're the most cultured because we sound like everything we've ever been involved in.
Yeah.
They are in a bubble of, this is who I am, this is how I'll be.
Yep.
Forever. And not all Brits are that way. I've met some badass Brits. But I got to tell you, there's an attitude that comes with, an American. That we, like this.
I won't do it anymore.
You're over it?
I'm
You're- so
stating
you hate 'em
for the
all?
record, I'll look in the camera and say there will never be another British person on my podcast.
Ever again.
I have had one of the best British comedians known to man.
Ricky Gervais.
He's the worst comedian. Did you mean that as a joke? Oh, I didn't know.
This is good.
No, this guy's very well respected among
Russell
people I
Brand.
respect.
I just keep naming British comedians.
And I at the end of it, I go, I'm sorry, man. I can't use that.
What do you mean, the whole episode?
Yeah, and his manager was sitting right there.
Wait, why? Because
Because he said, how do you think that went? And I said, not good. I said, not good at all.
obviously not good. You were here for the whole thing, right? Couldn't have been good.
Yeah.
What, can you say his name or no?
No.
No. But he just bombed the whole thing.
It wasn't that he bombed, it's what you were saying. It was this entitled, I'm smarter than you. He kept bringing up American politics. Like, you're going to shit. Look, I got a lot of problems with America.
Yeah.
But I can hear it from you.
Yes.
Anthony Santino.
Anthony Sarantino.
But I can't hear it from a guy who colonized the world, destroyed cultures, systematically held people, sold slaves. You know where we got our slaves?
They're king slaves. They're the king of the slaves.
They want to talk to us about our slaves. Where'd we buy them?
They are the Ford dealership of
Yeah,
slaves.
that's right.
We were just we're Russell Westbrook. We're the branch off.
That's right.
I'm
We're
just
right
selling
off
what
of
you
the
gave me.
101.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You gave me. Yeah, Bill Burr said this one time about, I don't even know, someone got announced as like a new, maybe a late night host or something. And he had said, he goes, if I hear one more foreign guy telling me about my news, I'm going to fucking go nuts.
Right.
Because it was like another, like, he's like, respect to, I think John Oliver is great. Like, there's a bunch of these guys that are now in, and the Daily Show, why am I drawing a blank?
Trevor Noah?
Yeah, exactly. It's like all these young guys that come in, and the business loves them, but there's something about when they just dumpster dive on America, it's easier to hear from an American than you're just like, why do you, let me come shit on South Africa for a long time.
Yeah.
It's just a weird feeling to hear a foreigner shit on us all the time. It can be funny, but it's just like, I like to hear it from a local yokel. Inside baseball is better for me.
Yeah, and when they do it from their own country, that's fine.
Sure.
We get it. We have a major influence on the world. We're affecting your country in a shitty way.
Yeah.
Which is true about most countries in the world. We're having a bad effect on you, especially now. But
You moved here.
But don't come here and say we. And then Trevor Noah will always go, we.
No.
And us.
No. No, you're not. You didn't. No.
You're not even white. Oh, shit. Now it comes out. Now the truth comes out.
I was waiting.
Oh.
I was waiting. Now, you were late for this because you had to go pick up your hood from the dry cleaners. Is the set complete now?
Well, the beautiful thing about it is I sleep on it at night. People always go, where do you hide your hood? I sleep on it. Those are my sheets.
Those are your sheets?
Yeah, fucking perfect camouflage.
You were trying to get some white guilt, your white guilt dose for the day, so you listen to NPR. Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Their slogan should be making you feel bad for being who you are.
Yeah.
They just want to make white people go, I'm a piece of shit. I should crash my car.
And in LA, there's 3 NPR stations.
Oh, I know. It's egregious.
Everywhere from 88.4 up to 92.1.
They might be higher now.
They're right.
They're like a 93.6 now. They just keep sliding up the scale.
They're working their way up the real
Well, because
estate.
they're so good at finding a thing that they know you're going to feel bad about.
Yeah.
And exploiting it till nothing is left. And then you'll walk out of your car and talk to someone, and it'll be on your mind the whole time.
Yeah.
Like, what's the thing you were listening to in the car?
There was a woman who was Caucasian, and she was
gross.
explaining to white people that they need to understand that not treating a black person better than you would naturally is the same as dating a woman who had been in an abusive relationship and not understanding that certain things are going to trigger them.
I'm trying to put this together.
In other words, slavery.
Yeah.
For people that go,
Yeah.
slavery was in the past.
Yeah.
I didn't hold you as a slave, so
I'm not responsible.
Same thing as dating a woman who had been in an abusive relationship
and not talking about it.
or not. I don't know.
Acknowledging it.
I halfway through the sentence, I didn't catch the second half of the sentence because I turned to a Van Halen song. And I fucking rocked out.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
And that's what they should cut themselves off and just switch to Van Halen songs mid-interview.
Yeah.
Just to help you feel a little bit better about what the fuck they're talking about.
Right.
Then jump back into it. And then make you feel guilty again. There is this thing, I've said this before. Someone texted me and asked me if I was going to go to one of the marches or something, or a protest or whatever, in the middle of it all. And I'm not going to say who because I'm like, but they hit me up a few times about it. And I was like, no. I don't like big crowds, even if regardless of the cause. I don't like that. I get a little anxious. I get, overwhelmed. I get panicky when I'm around a lot of people. I don't fucking like it. I don't go to fucking concerts. I don't go to any of that. It's like, oh, but this is for a good cause. I say, I don't care. It's just this isn't for me.
Yeah.
Good for you. This isn't for me. You shouldn't make me feel fucking bad about not wanting to go. I don't want to fucking go. Also, in the middle of the sickness shit, I don't want to be around a bunch of fucking strangers.
Fair enough.
And
Easy
on top
out.
of that, I said, but I'm having my black friend and his black kids come swim in my pool. So am I good now to you?
Yeah.
White person who I know doesn't have any black friends?
Yeah.
This was the dichotomy that bothers me.
Who is the black guy?
I can't tell you his name.
Okay.
Because it's not my business to say.
Yeah.
But his kids' names are Jamal and Jerome. Does that help?
A lot of J's with the black people.
Yeah, they love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jamal, Jerome,
Jamiqua.
Jaquanda.
Jaquanda.
Yeah, this will be our racist part. No, but I said, is that cool? And what I was trying to say was like, a lot of people that yelled about people not going or not participating, I know don't have relationships with black people.
Right.
You're like,
I'm
what the
playing golf with a black guy tomorrow.
Are you?
Tom Wright. Call him Black Tom in the neighborhood because there's a white Tom and a black Tom.
That's Black Tom?
We call him Black Tom.
Yeah, but I think that's my biggest bother. So many people that I know don't have black relationships at all.
Right.
At all. Even inauthentic ones. Even
Right.
ones where they're like, no, we see each other.
Yeah.
They don't have any fucking relationship with black people, working
Yeah.
or personal. And when they get upset about this whole thing, I'm like, you're awfully upset about this Black Lives Matter thing. You don't have any black people in your life.
Yeah.
So why are you trying to tell me how I should be handling this whole thing?
Yeah.
That bothers me. And I'm not saying like I'm friends with all the black people. I'm just saying that bugs the loudest whites I know have no fucking black friends.
Yeah.
Zero.
Well, wait till you have teenagers, because my kids will say things, not necessarily about blacks, but like just political correctness in general. Like we'll watch.
When you say something and then they correct you?
Well, they're very, yes. I'm not using the right words, or the spirit of what I'm saying is not in line with what they've been taught at school. And they have a ton of black friends. They both go to public schools, and so they have a lot of black friends.
That was conscious, right? Didn't we talk about that? You didn't put your kids in private schools.
No, as a matter of fact, they went to a Spanish immersion program well, they're still in it. So half the kids in their school are from Spanish-speaking homes, from K through 5.
Because you want them to have a real experience of life.
And I want help getting... No, I'm not gonna...
No, money.
I want...
And money.
Yes.
It's money.
Yes.
Just say money.
Yes.
Money.
And so now, but like we're watching RuPaul's Drag Race, and because my daughter fucking loves it.
Don't need to clarify it. You like it as well.
I like it, but I like laughing at it. It's a funny premise.
Well, that's
These
why
are
they do it.
men
It's a
dressing
comedy.
as women.
Yeah, it's a comedy.
Enough. I'm in.
Yeah.
I'm in.
I mean, I love it.
I mean,
Yeah.
and some of them are like manly men. They're like they're not
jacked.
all like really waif. They're big dudes.
Yeah.
And then they sit down and put on lipstick, and I say, and at one point I said he about somebody that was in drag, and my daughter goes, "Dad, it's she." So next episode, same person.
Yep.
And they show up as men at the beginning, haven't put on the makeup, and I go, well, she looks like Dad, it's he.
It's he. Right. When they switch, you have to switch.
I go, well, what's the cutoff point? Is there like,
What if you have some makeup on and then
right?
yeah, if you have a blouse on top but you have on fucking Timberland boots on the bottom, work boots on the bottom.
Yeah, if it's just the top lip, but they haven't gotten to the bottom lip yet.
Just little half lipstick.
Yeah, right.
No, I'm on your side. I don't know. I wouldn't know what the defining line would be.
Yeah.
Unless it's a person that's transitioned and done that whole thing, then I know it's okay. You only have to say he or she, depending on the switch. But if it's someone in drag, isn't it? I don't know. That's the thing about all this stuff. There is no list.
Right.
That someone goes, just no, it's online. You can
Yeah.
read it. It's like,
Yeah.
no, we have to fucking just guess.
Yeah, there needs to be a machine where you can plug in, and also like, so I said to my daughter as a joke, I go, I think I need a translator. Yeah, that's not funny.
Yes.
No, that's funny.
That's fun.
It's kind of a perfect
Why
joke.
isn't that funny? Yeah, like what? Tell me why that's not. You know what's so interesting though? Again, it's like, does your daughter have any trans friends?
I don't know.
See, but that's what I mean is like, I feel like when you associate with certain groups of people more, you tend to have a better sense of humor with those people.
Right.
So like,
I think they feel like when they're in the company of those people, they can make the jokes, but if
when
it's
they're
just
not,
us,
you
we
can't.
Whereas we're
used
Irish,
to be the
we're
opposite.
the opposite.
Yeah. It's like you don't say it in front of them. My grandfather's favorite phrase. He said, "If you have nothing good to say, come sit near me." That was it. That was like let's talk shit.
Yeah, right.
And then when we're around other people, then you're more inviting with the jokes because it's a communal thing. I think
Yeah.
that was a way we grew up. Maybe was just that's what you do.
Yeah.
Like we all made jokes about every kind of race or person, but then also when you're with them, you tease each other.
Yeah.
It was a part of a thing that maybe is a time that's long gone, but it was just a good example. A good friend of mine had a birthday party at a place called Plaza. I'm blowing up their spot right now. It's a Mexican transgender bar on La Brea, and you wouldn't even know it's there, and it's only open like 3 nights a week. And you go and have the best fucking night of your life. You
Yeah.
can bargain with the drinks.
Yeah.
They're like, I'm like, vodka soda, and he's like, $5.50, and I'm like, what about 3? He's like, okay, $3.75, and like it's the greatest.
great.
Yeah, it's definitely run illegally. It's
Yeah.
it's only cash. But anyway, I'm with my friend, and one of the performers is over, and she's dancing all over me, and she's fucking huge. I mean, outside of makeup, she's twice my size.
Yeah.
And we're laughing and joking around afterwards, and I tipping her out, and she says to me, "Is this your first time at a tranny bar?" And I laugh and I go, "No, I have a fucking membership. Like, I'll show you my stamps." And she's cracking up because she thinks I'm a newbie, but I'd been
Yeah.
there before.
Yeah.
And a friend at the table was like, because I had repeated it, and she was like, "You can't say that." Tranny. Tranny. I couldn't say that
right.
because it's derogatory. But I was like, well, she just said it. We were joking around
Right.
together. And she was like, no, you can't say that. But that's where the confusion sets in. It's like, we just had a fun moment together.
Yeah.
I can't say it because we're doing it. She said it. I repeated it.
Yeah, it's even like with the N-word, you notice that,
Well, you say that all the time. You walked in here. You said it to me.
well, we weren't taping and I didn't think you'd bring it up.
Well, we were. I record 24/7.
Dude, how much could you sell that to me for? Like, I'm just wondering off the top of my head what I would pay
Your N-word remix tape?
to not have that put out by you. Because we do say some crazy shit to each other. Mm-hmm. But I
What
was
would
on
it
Ro-
cost right now for someone to scrub your controversial word history of life?
Well, I said the N-word on Rogan's podcast.
I know. I've seen it. It's great.
And if I could take that off the internet, I'd pay $8,000 to take that off the internet.
Didn't he make you say it? Isn't that the clip? Isn't he saying say it?
But it's taken out of context because the context was I was saying that I've never used the N-word. I've said it, but I've never used it.
Oh, that's actually smart.
So in the same way that, like Huck Finn, N-word Jim, like that's not using it to say in an English class, I thought the character N-word Jim, blah, blah, blah. So it was a whole discourse on that. And then we went in, what am I, a British comic? A
Yeah.
discourse?
Yeah, this is
We
good.
talked about it.
That guy rubbed off on you.
Jeez, look at the way I'm sitting. I'm like half a fag from England.
So sooner or later, your dick's going to be tucked between your legs in your ass. You walk out. Just,
I learned that on RuPaul's Drag Race.
Yeah, that's right. You have
They
to
wear
tape-
bikini
they
bottoms
tape it,
sometimes.
and they tape it.
They duct tape it back.
So look, I've looked online because I was curious.
Yeah.
Justin Martindale one time took us to a place. There's a place called Revolver. It's like one of the most popular gay bars on that strip, you know.
Yeah.
And this guy was like dancing up on me a little bit, and he rubbed his dick on my leg. No dick.
Yeah.
And I said it to Martindale. I was like, that guy would fucking. He was like, we were joking around. He's laughing. He's rubbing his dick on me. By the way, you want to talk about crossing the line of sexuality? I know, like, everyone's getting canceled and targeted out for stuff. Go to one gay bar and get like sexually assaulted for about 5 hours.
Right.
He's rubbing his dick on me,
Yeah.
and I couldn't feel his dick. And he goes, "Yeah, he's probably tucking." And I was like, "Holy fuck!" Then I had to go online because I was like, I have to see how you can even do that.
Yeah.
Because I've tucked my dick, but doing the mangina.
Right.
But to tuck and tape and keep it away for that long.
Yeah.
So I've looked, I've learned, and I'm doing it right now.
I was gonna say you seem more high pitched than normal.
Usually I'm 6 or 7 octaves much
Right.
lower than this. Yeah.
There's also a garment that you can wear that does it. There's like
It
a
pulls it
pouch.
back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
like a pouch thing because I
Go ahead.
researched it too.
Yeah.
And it is weird. I did erase my browser history afterwards, but I
See, I've
did
thought
look
about
it
that,
up.
but they've already got you.
Yeah.
Because last week on me and Bobby's show, I was researching the legalities of bestiality.
Yeah.
Like I was like, is it actually illegal or is it just a faux pas thing in society?
Yeah.
And only some states it's fully illegal.
Yeah.
Like it's not. But then afterwards, my computer, I have to burn that fucking computer now.
Yeah.
But the feds already have that. Even if you're like clear browser, they're like, yeah, well, it's gone. No.
Yeah, they got it.
They got you.
it. And now I guess this Chinese, what is it? The G4? What's the
G5 towers or
G5
whatever?
towers?
Yeah,
I guess
that's how they
just
started it, dude.
And TikTok.
That's fake. I read an article about that.
Oh, good, because I'm
'Cause
all over that shit.
They said TikTok in U.S. is made by information is held by different servers.
Oh, good.
The worry was they were holding information of TikTok servers here over there.
Dude, you're on TikTok. I have seen very few comedians pop up on
Yeah,
TikTok.
I'm on
and
it.
you're one of them. And they're good clips. They're like, must be from one of your specials.
I do stand up on there, and I'll put podcast clips on there. Like
Yeah.
this will probably go on there at some point.
Oh, cool.
But I don't do original videos because I don't know how. Like
Yeah.
I have a guy that helps me do it. And I was like, do I need to try to do like the trend thing? He's like, no, that's gross.
Yeah.
He's like, you can't, because that's like 19-year-olds do like dance. He's like, you're going to look
Right.
sad if you
Right,
try
right.
to.
Oh, yeah.
But he goes, just go on there and do clips, like put up fucking stand up or whatever can go viral that can promote your shit.
Yeah. Have you
Honestly.
seen Eddie Pepitone's clips?
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, Eddie is one of the funniest people on planet Earth.
Crazy.
His special, by the way, was better than most of this past year's actual big budget produced specials.
Yeah.
And I love that dude. And I've always been, if you get him, you're going to think he's amazing. If you don't
I feel
get him.
like he's one of the guys that I'll always sit down and watch when he goes on stage. There's Kindler, Todd Glass, him, that are going to give you a different fucking show every time because they can't not deconstruct what they're saying as they go.
Yeah, they have to be. Yeah. And they all have different reasons why. Mental illness, drugs.
Yeah.
Mental illness again.
ADHD.
They all have different depths of mental disruption that cause them to do that. But those are good examples. I think of the top of that list would be Pep, though. Pepitone has the most subversively wild sets. Him and Holtzman they do that thing where you're like, this could be a fucking car crash that I don't want to see, or a car crash that I can't wait to see the bodies come out.
And Brody was like that too.
He was the exact same, yeah.
There was a sense with them that when they went home to their sad apartments, they were not going to sleep that night if they didn't have a great set.
Yeah.
And so every second on stage is a fucking knife fight in the alley.
Yeah, which is the opposite for you.
I mail that shit in.
You
I go
don't
home
give
to
a
happy
fuck, and you go
family.
home and sleep like a baby.
I got a hot wife. She's still got a good rack.
I know. You talk about it on stage sometimes, and I visualize your wife in my head, and I don't want to ruin the image of actually knowing your wife.
Yeah.
Because she's great upstairs. In my head, she's wonderful.
Well, and maybe she just is in mine at this point because I love her so much. Like
She's probably
I'm
pretty
so-
hideous in real life.
she's probably fucking gross.
It's probably a 4, yeah, in real life.
She's an LA -1.
she's docked below the norm because she lives here.
She's had no plastic surgery, so over the age of 40, no plastic surgery in LA.
What a cool thing, by the way.
Yeah.
Because I'm okay. I'm okay with everyone doing whatever you need to do. But for some reason, women reach a point when they're all in, and then you become a marionette.
Yeah.
You become like this fake faced person.
Yeah.
That does it. They all look the same.
Right.
Like how the kids with mental disabilities
You know who
look the
gets
same.
away with it? I shouldn't say this. Who knows? But Halle Berry has not aged in 25
She's black.
years. Yeah.
Black people just have that ageless skin.
Yeah.
They don't have white, crusty. I mean,
I know.
look at us.
Yeah. Well, their elbows actually do get a little crusty, but the faces,
Lotion.
yeah.
You don't put on any lotion.
I don't
do
put
you?
on any lotion.
Never.
I don't even put on sunblock. I went to the beach
I do sunblock.
5 of the last 6 days. Look at me. Look at my face.
How are you getting away with it?
Where's the tan?
How are you getting away with no sunblock?
No, I put sunblock on my face, but not on my
Not on my-
arms.
okay.
Not on my body, just my face and my neck. And my neck, it's become like a fucking turkey. It's like a turkey with cancer.
It's like a bunch of vaginas.
Yes.
Bunch of old vaginas.
Yeah.
But what do you think was going to happen?
What do I care? You know, I shave my head now. That's what's happened during the pandemic. My daughter
You bick
buzzes it.
Oh, buzz it.
No, I don't bick it, but she buzzes it down every couple weeks. It's long now.
See,
and
I
it's very
appreciate that. Keep it. It looks nice and tight like
Yeah.
that. There's something about like the frazzled bald look where it's like guys have like lots of frazzly hair.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
Once it's
You mean like lone hairs sticking up here?
well, yeah, up here in the back, up
Yeah,
here. You know,
yeah.
if you've lost it in the front,
Like Eddie Pepitone.
yeah, it's like just clean it
Yeah.
up
Yeah.
because that makes him look more unstable.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Maybe that's what he wants, though.
Yeah, but less likely to get a loan. You know what I mean? Like, where are you
Yeah.
gonna walk? Like, if I own a thing and I'm entrusting him in anything, I'm gonna go, oh fuck, he can't even fucking clean up the loose ones.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. We're not gonna rent the apartment to you, bud.
Yeah.
You
And
gotta
the
go-
footwear, the shoes that it's like, dude, Ross dressed for less. He can pick up a size 10, clean black shoes for like $19.
It's not hard anymore.
Yeah.
We can get everything done at cost.
Yeah.
People make very specific choices over why they don't want to do things, which is fine. I'm no fashionista. I wear whatever I've got,
Yeah.
but it's simple. It's
Yeah.
just shirt and shoes. I don't do fashion stuff.
Right.
I'm not going to go out of my way to buy it if I don't need it, I don't buy it.
Yeah.
When someone's like, "Oh, it's a fucking leather jacket." It's like, I don't need a leather fucking jacket. Why would I need a leather jacket?
Yeah.
What time period do I live in? I have 2 suits. I don't need suits.
Yeah.
Do you have suits?
I have. I used to wear suits on stage for a while, just because I hosted a game show on MTV and I was dressed in sharkskin suits for it.
Did you really?
Like 50s tight, like Mad Men sharkskin
Wait,
suits.
what was the name of the game show?
It was called Idiot Savants, and it was on around like 1998.
Was it your show or they cast you for it?
They cast me for it.
Okay. Was it fun?
It was the most fun I've ever had in my life.
Really?
Yeah, it was just a blast. I mean, to this day, I don't think there's a better gig than hosting a game show.
Because you just fucking
Everyone's got a name. I have a bad memory. I can't remember lines.
Yeah.
You got a name tag on. I can memorize the rules, and then we just have fun. My whole job was to shit on people
Yeah.
and keep the game funny.
That's easy.
And we would shoot 5 a day because it was MTV. 5 a day.
So you're getting paid well too.
Get paid great.
Yeah.
And then I would do colleges for crazy money. We did 2 seasons, and by the end I was making crazy money. But I had met my wife just before I got the show, so I never tasted that MTV pussy. Can you imagine? I could have been like the Weezer.
Yeah. The Weasel? The Weasel, you mean?
What did I say?
Weezer, the band.
Yeah.
You could have been like the band too. They were also popular at that point. You could have been like Pauly Shore 2.0. What would your catchphrase have been?
Come on down.
Always having women above you in in an apartment. Come on down.
That's right. I would have a basement apartment.
Yeah, come on down.
That's right.
But your wife met you when were you broke before then?
No.
You were doing okay.
Yeah, I had started making money like a couple years before because I got a development deal for a sitcom, and then I had this series on USA, and all back when Montreal really meant something. Like I did the Montreal Comedy Festival.
USA.
And I'm from New York, but I started doing stand-up in Boston, where I went to school. And I started young, and by the time I moved to New York, I'd been doing it for like 7 years. I was like 28 years old. I've been doing it for like 7 years. And nobody in New York or LA had ever seen me. So I go to the Montreal Festival, and I mean, when you start in Boston, I started with Rogan and, fucking Dane Cook and like killers, people that were going up, and we were Bobby Kelly, Patrice O'Neill, Louis C.K., Nick DiPaolo. And so you got good really fast, and you were doing shows 6 nights a week. So by the time I go to Montreal, I was pretty solid. And I just did 2 7-minute sets. And I walked out with the biggest manager and the biggest agent, a spot on Letterman,
You cocksucker.
a development deal with Fox, and this series on USA.
You could never get that today.
No.
You could go crush an hour, right? You could go out there and crush a new hour, and the industry would go, pretty good.
Yep.
And that's all you'd get.
You would get some club dates, maybe.
Sure.
That's
that
it.
you were
You
going to
get-
get maybe
right,
anyway. They
right.
just saw you
Yeah.
now. Yeah. What a fucking weird world that is. People that don't know Montreal comedy festivals, just for laughs, you get invited, and back about 10, 15 years ago, even 10 years ago probably, people were still getting deals off of going and doing well.
Yeah.
Now it's an expectation.
Right.
Now you have to have some magic fucking 8-ball trick in your pocket for them to go, we should invest in this guy. And even then, what do you get on? Most people that are getting invested in already had investments prior to going.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't go to Montreal until I was already on television and had done stuff.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. I had done a sitcom. I had done 2 like guest spots on TV. Or maybe I don't know if I did Conan. I think I did Conan before I went to Montreal.
Yeah.
So it didn't fucking matter.
Right.
It was like,
You already had representation?
yeah, it meant literally nothing to me. I was on
Yeah.
I was on a sitcom 2 years before that.
Yeah.
So I was like, why do I fucking it almost was like a letdown.
Yeah.
It was like a bummer. I was like, oh, thanks for the fucking invite.
Yeah.
I already did it. In my mind, so it was kind of like a bummer that I did well there too, because it mattered almost even less.
Yeah.
So the second year I went back, I learned, and I just did mushrooms the whole time with Ari.
Oh, that's great.
It was fucking incredible.
Yeah.
It was incredible. That was the most fun time I've ever had. I disappeared. I missed a couple of shows. Ari will lead you astray.
I need that right now. I am so ready for some mushrooms this summer. I want to go somewhere with a cool lake and some woods.
Yeah?
And I want to take some mushrooms with you and Ari, and maybe we get Duncan Trussell.
I would fucking, him and Joe List and a bunch of guys are goofing around in the East Coast right now.
Who?
Ari, yeah.
Oh.
Because he was just, him and List were together, I imagine, walking around high smoking cigars. They put it up online. Are you a cigar guy?
Yeah.
Everybody's a cigar guy now.
Yeah.
I feel like Burr also became the cigar guy, and then everyone I talk to now is into this thing. And
I'm not like hang out in cigar shops, but I'm a guy that like, if you want to have a cigar, I'm going to enjoy the shit out of that cigar.
I won't do it. For some reason,
You seem like you'd be a cigar guy.
I love whiskey.
Yeah.
Which pairs well, I know. But
Right.
I think because I quit smoking,
Then you can't fuck around.
I can't do it.
Yeah.
Even the idea of a cigar makes me go, why am I doing that? I should smoke a cigarette. Why am I doing this?
Yeah.
Like, I've had it a few times. The last time I had a cigar was at a buddy's bachelor party.
Yeah.
And I couldn't care less. The whole time I was like, man, I want a fucking cigarette right now because
Yeah.
of this. Not because of the addiction, just because if I'm going to be wasting my lungs, I was like, let me just do it with a fucking cigarette.
I kind of feel like that about strip clubs. Like, if I go to a strip club and I get an erection around a woman who's trying to turn me on,
Yeah.
the likelihood that I'm going to cheat goes through the roof. Whereas if I just don't go, like I have like,
But you're never going to cheat at a strip club because they don't want to fuck with you.
but I mean, it leads to the cigarette.
Yeah, that's the...
I
yeah.
think you break something with your wife when you go to a strip club because you might get titillated, you might have fun, you and your friends have some laughs, but there's a part of you that's not going to tell your wife, and now you got a little lie.
See, I'm the opposite. I tell her. She couldn't care less.
Right. See, I don't think my wife would be happy, so I don't do it.
It's interesting because I think she knows I don't like it that much.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck. When people want to go, I'm almost bummed.
Yeah.
I'm like, why?
It's a waste of a night.
I'd rather go to like an OTB and black out with local pieces of shit betting on.
Right.
That's funnier to me.
Right, or the transsexual bar. Yeah,
the transsexual bar,
That's
yeah.
way more fun.
Well, that's the most fun because then you're
Yeah.
going to get stories. Someone's going to get hurt.
Yeah.
Lost. That's a night of. Even if you're not getting fucking drunk, I know crazy shit's going to happen.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see what goes on. Yeah, strip clubs have always been a thing to me where it's like a place to waste time with somebody.
Yeah.
If I'm with a friend and it's to go get a drink and they want to do it and I'm in some city, I will, but it's pretty begrudgingly. I hate to say it. I've never been to one strip club where I've been like, whoa, how fucking amazing. That was amazing. Actually, the only one time is in Atlanta. Atlanta has some wild-ass strip clubs.
Atlanta's known for
and
that.
black
yeah.
strip clubs
Yeah.
make white strip clubs look like a fucking kiddie land. They are phenomenal.
Yeah.
A black strip club is 10 times more fun. They'll smack you in the face with a tit. They'll belittle you and demean you. It's not to make you be, yeah, daddy. It's none of that.
Yeah.
It's to call you a bitch, you
Yeah.
small-dicked motherfucker.
Wow.
It feels good to be demeaned. It's
Really?
It's just funny.
Yeah.
Because they're so cocky that
Yeah.
you're just like this piece. Give me money, you bitch.
Right.
And you're like, yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
That's funny to me.
Yeah.
I'd rather give that girl money than a sad girl who's lying to her whole family about dancing. They're proud of dancing.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, and it's very athletic, isn't it? The black strip clubs.
Oh my God. Yes. I mean, naturally, they're going
Yeah.
to be more athletic. Some of the poles have a hoop, and they have dunk contests in the middle of stripping.
No shit.
Yeah, dude.
Really?
They have dunk contests in the middle of stripping.
They dunk.
No, none of this is.
Oh, that's like the scene out of Airplane. Where they remember when they go to they get stranded on an island in the middle of nowhere in a tropical island, and the Aboriginal people, he puts up a basketball hoop,
yeah.
and they start fucking slam dunking. I to this day have never laughed so hard in my life.
That is easily one of the greatest comedies ever, and people don't. There's a lot of people, comics, that don't really like or know Airplane.
Yeah,
It's always funny to me. It's a big gauge of what you know, the history of comedy and film.
yeah,
Because that, to me, subtle jokes died in comedy a long time ago in film. You can't do small jokes anymore on.
right.
It doesn't work anymore.
Yeah,
But that was the king of, call me Frank, call me Shirley. You know, those kind of like throwaways.
yeah.
Doesn't work anymore.
And while they're doing it, there's a banana
Another
in the
bit happening,
background
yes.
making a smoothie. Like there's 8 things going on. You have to keep watching the movie.
Yeah, that's the best part. I don't think you can get away with subtle comedy anymore. I think it breaks my heart that we care so much in comedy now to be big. They
Yeah.
have to be fucking huge.
Yeah, I know.
I miss tiny comedy. On Jeopardy the other day was nobody knew the answer was Caddyshack, and it was the clue was pretty on the nose. It was something about like, you know, they did that thing where it's like Ramus, Gopher, Gunga Galunga, or whatever,
Yeah.
you know, whatever the three phrases.
Yeah.
And nobody knew, and it
Wow.
reminded me how much those kind of like comedy old nuance films probably won't exist in the social conversation in 20
Yeah,
years.
my kids show me comedies, and I try to open my mind, like Pineapple Express. Like
Yeah.
I watch it and I go, yeah, that's good, but like, let me show you fucking Some Like It Hot. Let me show you a Marx Brothers movie. Let me show you, you know,
Yeah.
and or the original Odd Couple. Let's get dark and be funny at the same time.
Yeah.
Not be one note, but actually fucking be all over. And but my kids were raised on the Marx Brothers. We had like a 6 DVD collection of the Marx Brothers when they were little.
No shit.
And I mean, from the ages of 5 on, they had them in rotation. They loved it.
So they have good taste.
Yes. Well, I think that if you expose your kids to the right things when they're
Yeah.
young, they get it, and they love Airplane, and you know, they have really good taste, but they also have a taste for
The new shit.
the new shit that I try to go with, like, you know, the Zohan or whatever it is.
Yeah, Sandler's the Zohan, Zohan. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
But not my. They go. It's my favorite movie.
It's also got to be a period of time in their life. Like, what was
Yeah,
when you were
that's
fresh
true.
out of college, what was the movie or the thing in culture that you remember the most? Like, what was like, there was either a band or a film or a thing that was going on that you were
The
like,
Jerky Boys
see what I mean?
had a huge impact on my
I mean,
comedy.
I think arguably the reason that I started doing voices was Jerky Boys.
Yeah.
Jim Carrey and Jerky Boys was why I imitated people and
Yeah.
did these quirky things. But I guarantee you, newer generations would be like, this is...
My kids don't really get Jerky
Well,
Boys.
yeah, because why?
Yeah.
Would it doesn't have any relevance of the time. Comedy, as we know more than anything, it doesn't age well almost
Yeah.
ever.
Right.
It's rare as fuck when even a bit you watch from like a prior bit, I know he's the god, and we all love these guys that are the beginnings. But there's a lot of times you'll watch old stuff and go, I don't know, that's not that not that fucking funny.
Yeah.
Because it's not then.
Yeah.
Like there was a joke I watched got a massive laugh. It was like Leno was on Carson, and he was doing it, or no, he was on Letterman. And I like to watch the old tapes.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, I was obsessed with Carson. My mom loved Carson.
Oh yeah, same with me.
And I used to sneak out of my bed and watch Carson at night.
Yeah.
And eat hot dogs in front of the TV.
Uh-huh.
And she would be so fucking mad, but she's like, I showed it to you, so I couldn't be that mad at you because she loved it. So I still watch old Carsons now, and there was a Letterman link when he was filling in and Leno was in the seat, and he said, he goes, oh, I got him flying so much, and these planes now, it's like so many stopovers, and it's like I don't even know if they're stopping because we need to refuel or because the pilot wants to show the plane off to one of his buddies. And it was it's like such a mediocre. It murdered.
Yeah.
It fucking.
Yeah.
I mean, the house was like, oh
Right.
shit. I mean,
Right.
people were like fucking slitting their throats. They were laughing
Yep.
so hard. But I was like, that must have been another example of, I guess it's the sign of the time.
Yeah.
Of why I thought Monty Python was funny, but for some reason some of my friends didn't.
Yeah.
And their dads were like, you like that?
Right.
I was like, yeah. I was like, maybe I just went through the matrix hole of liking a time period.
Yeah, when I look at some old the stand-ups from when stand-up was huge in the 80s, early 80s, when it was like Richard Belzer was the king. And we were one of those guys that like you talk to any comic that came through New York in the 70s and 80s. I mean, you talk to Seinfeld, you talk to Paul Reiser, you talk to Eddie Murphy, like they will tell you Belzer was the guy. Mm-hmm. Put a gun to my head and tell me why Richard Belzer is funny. Like it just doesn't hold
Doesn't
out
click.
in the least.
Right.
Remember in Scarface? He was in Scarface?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's as funny as he ever got. and you realize the crowds were so hungry for comedy back then. There was a guy, and his name is John Ridley.
I don't know. I feel like that name is
You know the
familiar.
name because I'll tell you why you know the name after the story. And so he was a comic in New York at that time period, and he was one of the guys, and he was going on the road. He was out making $10,000 a week. He was doing some
Isn't that
late
disgusting?
nights, not mediocre at best.
Yeah.
At best. And then I was writing on Wanda Sykes' show, and I would write monologue, and I was a consultant, so I had no power, so I had to hand my jokes into him, and he would decide which ones Wanda got to see. And I wanted to go, John, you don't judge my jokes for Wanda. Right. You know what John Ridley is famous for?
Huh.
He wrote 12 Years a Slave. That's how funny John Ridley is.
That's who that is.
Yes.
I was like, that name.
Yep.
He wrote 12
That's
years.
his sense of humor.
Yeah. Well, that movie was hilarious. I don't know.
Especially the 11th year. Because you're like, no, not still.
Again? Now, you wrote for Wanda because, did she hire you, think, because you're also a black lesbian? Would you think that was part of the process?
Well, I got hired by many lesbians. I worked for Ellen for a while. And then Judy Gold had a thing on Comedy Central. I did.
Do you think they see something in you?
I don't know what it is. It's the outfit, I think. The khakis. No, I write for black people and lesbians. I've written on a ton of black shows.
Yeah.
It's almost like once you do one thing in this business, that's the thing you do.
But you're also Irish people or ginger line people like us in this thing. We're given this weird flavor card. We're given like a flavor card by the black community as like, you're okay. Because you're not a regular white.
Right.
You're just not.
You've suffered a little bit like
There's
us.
something about us that we're not regular whites.
Yeah.
Whether you're a redhead or you're just like violently Irish, they can just feel that you're...
Well, we are the N-words of Europe.
Yeah.
The Irish truly were.
And I'm Sicilian, which is even worse.
Oh, wow.
Like, you couldn't have been the more bottom of the barrel two people coming together. Like,
Well-
Sicilian trash, and I'm Ireland trash.
And do your ancestor DNA. If you're Sicilian, you're black, too.
I am
You've
black.
got some black
Yeah,
blood
I do.
in you.
Yeah. No, but and also the Sicilian side, it's not like I tried to find out if maybe I had like some sort of nobility in the history. Like, did anybody own anything? You know, like a boat.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And hopefully not people.
No. Well,
Yeah.
they couldn't. They fucking you kidding
Yeah.
me? They were owned by everybody.
Yeah.
Sicily was just slave island. But I was
Right.
like, did they maybe have like a fisherman's port? You
Yeah.
know? No. Everyone in my family in the history from as far as we can trace, just shit farmers. Just bullshit moron farmers. And all the Irish too. It's nothing but it's just I don't have one piece where somebody goes, you know, my great grandfather was a professor at
Right,
no.
Right.
I come from gum on the shoe people.
You're working for it.
Yeah.
Never a connection, never a step up by
No,
somebody
it proves
else.
it. I would have like by the way, that's the thing I learned when I moved to Los Angeles from Chicago was and I learned it years later because I thought, man, how do all these people get certain opportunities? And you learn people have connections.
Yeah.
I had less than zero connections.
Right.
And you learn, you're like, that guy's your uncle? It's like, yeah, my dad fucking works for Lionsgate.
Yeah.
For all this time, I just assumed people were just getting lucky because they were talented in the right place. You're like, this isn't about right place, right time. It's right place, right time, and also who's in your family.
Right.
Like who's your fucking father-in-law? Who's your, you know?
Yeah.
I've learned it now. I'm too late.
I think it helps also just, my father was in the business. He never helped me because he was in the radio business in New York. But it gave me the mindset that this is something you can actually make a living at.
Right.
You know, I didn't have the kind of parents that went like, no, you got to get a master's degree and you got to do, you know, my parents were very much like, look, if you show up on time, which you made a joke that I was late, I'm never late.
No, you were, no, of course, you were early. You were actually
texted
early.
you that I was 2 minutes
I know.
early.
I'm the same way. And what is that?
It's feeling like you treating this like a fucking business. If I'm going to take this crazy leap of thinking that I can make, I don't think I'm that funny, but I think I can outwork the other guy.
Yeah.
I think that I'll push that's why I've written for TV shows. A lot of comics can't write for TV shows because they're like, I'm used to an hour a night. I'm not working fucking 14-hour days.
That's just lazy shit.
Yeah, and I'm like, I'll work the 14-hour day. This is a gift.
Yeah.
This is all a gift. I felt like it. I've been doing this 31 years, and not a year goes by that I just don't look up and go, I can't fucking believe I don't have a job. That I get in my car to go to the Comedy Store at night, and I have a nice dinner with my family. Love my kids. Settle in. We'll watch Little Sopranos on TV, and then I'll look at my watch and be like, I gotta go. And they're all like, oh, that's too bad. I'm like, yeah, it's too bad. I gotta go fucking hang out with you and Joey Diaz and fucking
And fuck
Rogan
off.
and fuck off and make it and get on stage and have 150 people shower me with acceptance. Yeah.
Has your wife gotten easier about it, by the way, as time has
She
gone on?
never gave me a problem.
That's wild.
She's never once given me a problem about having to go on the road. She knew the deal.
Yeah.
When I told you when she met me, I was already doing it full time for.
But
a
I
living.
always imagine at some point there would be, because mine is the same way.
Yeah.
Okay, it's creepy that she's like never bothers her that I go to work out at night. If I got 3 sets.
Yeah.
Like I got to leave early and we can't have dinner together. And at some point in my mind, I think, well, it's been what I had 14 years or 13 years or whatever. And
Has it been that long?
I've been doing for as long as I've been doing stand up. Yeah,
I
yeah,
thought you've been with her for 14 years.
Well, not much less.
Wow.
I mean, yeah. Like we've been together for a long time, and she's been there since I was in stand up. Like since it was already a part of the game. But I was a poor, broke nobody.
Right.
So then she got to see me get love in stand up and start to do things and grow. And at some point, I thought she's gonna at some point be like, I don't like this fucking every night going to the Comedy Store and going to club and like when so now without her even asking, I'm like, we need date nights. We need this. I plan as hard as I can. And she still doesn't ask for it. But in the back of my mind, I'm like, it's coming. It's coming the day when she's like, it's enough.
Yeah.
But if you tell me if it's good, then it's good.
I think you're doing the right thing. I think and Harlan Williams gave me this advice. Well, he's divorced now, but he had a good, long, healthy marriage. And
Hey, buddy.
Hey, buddy. Here's what you do, buddy.
He came over to my house, by the way. There was a house on like around the corner from us that's like basically condemned because the guy is ready to die and he just won't fucking do anything.
Yeah.
And he goes, I see you got the haunted house neighborhood, do you, buddy? I was like, yeah, that was a big attraction in the neighborhood was the haunted house. He goes, it's great. You don't have to go far to take your kids trick or treating. They get all the ghosts they need in their life right around the corner. I was like, the way his brain clicks.
Oh my God.
But anyway, he said what when he was married?
He said, buddy, what you want to do? You have to do the voice.
Mm-hmm.
Is he said, make a date night with your wife. Have a regular date night, but then once in a while, tell her, you know what? I got a spot tonight. I got 2 spots tonight. I'm going to cancel them. Let's go out to a movie. Now, did you have 2 spots?
No.
But you tell her that, and it makes her feel really special.
That's actually very smart.
And I would do that sometimes.
You'd just be like, oh, the store I should cancel.
I'm going to do it tonight. I'm going to tell her I have 4 spots tonight.
She knows.
Yeah.
Do you miss stand-up?
Yes. I didn't at first because I was in a rut. I'd been doing it for I never took off more than 2 weeks in my life.
Yeah, it makes me feel anxious. When it was a week, I would get nervous. If I go see my parents, I'd be like...
But then when this pandemic happened and I had 3 weeks off, 4 weeks off, I was kind of like... I was feeling like I was going to be able to come back into it in a different kind of a tone. I didn't like the tone I was in. I felt like I had gotten into this like...
Rut?
I'd gotten into a rut. I was pushing instead of being centered. I'd lost my balance, which you always, as a stand-up, it's like fucking playing golf. It's always like you forget one fundamental and then you get it back in and you go, oh, that's what it does. That's how it works. I just have to relax. I got to trust it. I got to, it's all rhythm. It's like golf. It's all rhythm. And when you get out of your own rhythm, it's not going to work.
You're fucked.
So don't watch the guy that goes on ahead of you. If I'm watching fucking Joey Diaz and then I go on stage, it's not that I can't follow Joey Diaz. It's if I make the mistake of trying to follow Joey Diaz with his energy.
Right. You can't monkey see, monkey do.
Yeah.
It's going to fucking kill you.
Right.
So this helped break away, you feel? Maybe.
Yeah, I've been writing a lot. And
see, but I'm afraid the material is going to be... See, I've been writing, and every time I look at it, I go, I just don't know how I'm going to pair it or how it's going to feel.
Yeah.
Because I was in a place, I was doing an hour that I was about to shoot, and now...
Oh, no shit, really?
Yeah. And I don't like almost any of it.
Yeah.
And the people I was going to do it with, they were like, what are you thinking about maybe the fall or something? And I said, no. I said, because I knew. I was like, stand-up's not going to be... Like, they have this weird delusion that they're like, you guys can get back out there by the end of the summer, don't you think? And I'm like, I doubt it. I just strongly doubt it. So for me now, I have this weird feeling that I'm going to take all this stuff that I've been writing down, and it's going to supersede what I had, and now it's going to be working from scratch again. Because I don't even know how much of that stuff I really care about anymore.
Yeah, I had an hour that I was just like, had shaped it, and I did it in Portland. And there was a local guy who said, I'll come out and shoot it for a few $100. And I said, great, I'll just get it on tape, and then I can show it to Netflix
at
or
Helium,
wherever.
or would you do it at? Where'd you do it?
At Helium.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this guy is great there.
Yeah.
And he just set up 2 cameras right near each other, but just so you can make cuts. But a good camera, and he mic'd the fuck out of the room. He put up like 5 microphones.
Smart.
And it came out so well that I'm going like, you know what? Instead of waiting and trying to resurrect this hour in a year or two, I think I'm just going to cut it up and just start putting it out in 3-minute chunks over the next 6 months.
I couldn't agree more. I wish I did that. In retrospect, I've talked about that endlessly. I've said that so much that I'm like, God damn, I wish I just shot it because I was about to, and I thought, I'll wait.
Yeah.
And I waited, and I was doing my tour, and I thought, I'll shoot it at the end of this little first run of my tour.
Yeah.
And then when I get back at the end of the fall, boom, I'll have it in the can, and I'll start running again.
Right.
And that was my whole fucking plan. And this just was the ripple of this just stopped everything. So now you're lucky. I mean, I would absolutely do that. I would put it out in chunks and just give it to the people because nobody gives a fuck. You talk to these people about the analytics. Nobody is watching a full hour when they sit down. People aren't even watching Chappelle in a full hour.
Right.
Okay,
Half hour. He put out a half hour.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. They won't even watch a full hour of him.
Right.
So who the fuck do I think I am?
I know.
They're going to see 15 minutes of you, then go get food or go get high, and then watch 15 or 20 more minutes later in the night with a friend. And then 2 days later, they're going to show somebody else, go, you got to come watch this guy. Fitz does this great bit. Then they'll probably watch the beginning again with somebody, and then chunk it later, and then
Put your
chunk it
good
later.
shit up front. That's what they're going to watch.
Always. Seriously.
Yeah,
They have
absolutely.
no patience to stick around for your fucking, your grand opus. Like, they don't give a fuck when you're like, wasn't the closer great? They're like, what was the closer again?
Yeah.
I remember the first couple of, there's some statistics that say different, but I believe what I know with my friends that don't, my friends back home that aren't in the business, they'll tell you to your face. They're like, yeah, I watched the majority of it, but they really get the first fucking big chunk of it.
Yeah.
By the end, they're like, it was good. Yeah, it was good. But they're probably cooking fucking dinner or cleaning or putting the kids to bed. Or you know what I mean? It's like people are living anymore. They're not like sit and watch, I think doesn't happen.
There's also something about an hour of stand-up. Most stand-ups have a cadence and a rhythm that, like Stephen Wright, who's one of my favorite comics of all time.
Love.
Can't watch an hour of him
Because it's too much.
Because it's the same format. Even
Yeah.
if he veers off and it's weird and all that, you still start to see how his mind works, and it gets less interesting.
Sure.
As opposed to, like, you know, if it's Carlin, then that's an hour.
Well, he's writing an arc story.
There's a narrative.
Yeah, there's a narrative
yeah,
to
there's
it,
a
right.
theme, and
Yeah.
but there's very few people in the history of comedy that Louis done hours that were worth watching the whole hour.
His last hour was fucking great.
Was it? Oh, I didn't see it.
Oh, I'll send it to you. I have it.
Really?
Yeah.
I'll pay for it.
No, hey, you don't give that guy money. Okay.
You know what he's gonna do with it.
Yeah, you know what he's gonna do with that fucking money.
He's gonna jerk off.
Yeah, he's
on
gonna
the
jerk
money.
off on the money. I loved it. I couldn't talk highly about it, and higher about it. I just was like, there was only one joke that I would have switched its placement,
Yeah.
like as if I'm a critic. But I was just saying, I loved it front to back. I just thought there was one joke that, man, if he just put it in the other place, it would have made more sense, and you'll know right away. You'll go, oh yeah, why didn't that go there? Because that's
Yeah.
the same thing, really.
Right.
And outside of that, the only reason it didn't get talked about, you know, it kind of was quiet. You know, no critic came forward and it was like, pervert does a special.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
like
yeah.
you didn't read any of that
Right.
shit, because it was actually quite, it was quite,
Restrained.
yeah, it was quite evolved for
Yeah.
Louis in terms of like, he addresses some of that stuff. He also talks about what's going on in his personal life and tries to get back to a place of being like, am I allowed to be a human without your judgment and
Right.
still be a comic? Or
Yeah.
do you want to still throw stones at my forehead about
Right.
my shortcomings?
Yeah.
Like, it's kind of a nice way of doing it. And I'm
That's
sure
great.
people will still, you know, people are still going to be mad about it. But man, fuck, I really, honestly, that was the first special I've watched in full in
Yeah.
years.
Yeah.
I can't, last time I watched a special in full was like, I don't know. I honestly could maybe, I mean, I was obsessed with Geraldo for years. I used to love everything he ever did.
I watched Jeselnik's last special. That was really good.
Well,
As good as any of his other specials.
he's a funny dude, but I hate it. I hate him as a human being, front to back, inside.
didn't know
and out.
that.
Yeah, piece of shit, loser.
What?
Yeah, you heard me, Jeselnik, you fucking
Oh, you're
turd.
kidding.
No, yeah, I love him
Yeah.
to death. No, he's fantastic.
Wow, that's the first time I've heard that
No,
about
no,
Jeselnik.
and you know what? He's a great guy to. He's actually low key a great guy to drink with. People don't really know. He's wonderful. If you can catch him in the bar,
Yeah.
and he's rarely there, but if you can catch him and hanging out and drinking, he's really fun to just sit and talk shit for a long time.
Yeah. I
But he
sat with
usually
him at
ghosts.
the bar at the Comedy Store one night, and I had never really sat with him like that. And then that's the beauty of podcasts, too. Is like,
Yeah.
I had him on my podcast, and I was like, dude, we've talked for 10 minutes 30 times.
Yeah.
But we never talked for an hour with no interruptions.
Yeah, that's true.
That's the greatest thing about podcasts.
I
Like,
should have someone just pop in here and go, Fitz, you're up in 5, just to fuck this whole thing up. You're up, Santino. You're
or
upstairs.
somebody walk up to you and go, hey, you don't remember me, but I did a guest spot for you in Cleveland in the 90s.
Oh fuck! Hey, what's up? What's up,
Yeah,
man? Yeah.
yeah.
The hardest thing that people do to you as a comedian is when they say that phrase. When they say, "Hey, man, you probably don't remember me," which is basically them saying, "I know you don't remember me. I'm gonna make you remember me," and kind of feel bad that you don't really remember the situation.
Right.
And then you're gonna have to pretend like you remember, and
Yeah.
it's gonna be weird for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And you're gonna walk away, and I'm gonna walk away, and it's gonna be just a little bump in our road.
Yep.
When I could have just kept
You could have
walking.
just said, or you could have gone up and said, hey, man, there's no way you remember me.
Yeah.
But
But-
it meant something to me when we met years ago at
Yes.
in this year.
Yes.
And we said this.
Yep.
And then we're all up to speed.
Instead of making me fish and making me feel
Yeah,
bad
yeah,
about
right.
fishing when I'm like, oh,
What about just, hey,
hey,
you don't remember me? Well, that is a function of you as much as me.
right?
If you had been more interesting when we met,
I would have remembered you.
you'd been at the front of my mind.
But there also are people that I knew I had a relationship with many years ago that I may have worked with on a short stint, and we probably had a great time.
Yeah.
And they're like, what's been going on? And I'm like, I don't know so much since I don't know you. Like,
Dude, I have guys that
I don't know
regularly
you.
open for me, and I can't remember their names sometimes. I keep a document on my computer that lists the people, and this is
Who opens for you? Oh my God.
Erica Rhodes. You know Erica Rhodes?
Yes. Yeah.
She opens for me a lot.
Yeah.
Danielle Stewart.
Yeah.
I like bringing women on the road.
Yeah. Smart.
Yeah.
Because so you can abuse them mentally. Because I know everybody knows, and let it be the record. Fitz emotionally abuses his openers, regardless of gender, but he especially to women. He'll go, "You're funny for a girl, I guess," and he lets that sit in their head for hours, don't you?
And I say it with double irony, where you're playing it with irony, but they're going, he's being ironic about the irony. He fucking means it.
He means it.
Yeah.
And they have to sit with it.
And they have to sit with it, and then when I talk to them, I stare at their genitals, and then I say dirty shit in their tape recorder when they're taping their set.
Is it true you make your openers? I've heard that you make your openers sleep in the lobby of the hotel. They're
in
not
the
allowed
lobby of the
upstairs?
hotel, yeah,
Wow.
because they give me money as a per diem but I feel like that's
your money.
That's my money.
Right. You deserve that money.
Have you been to a Holiday Inn? Have you seen the couches they have? No, they're fucking great.
Oh, they're nice?
They're fantastic.
Oh. I usually stay in a Four Seasons, and I'll make my opener. Typically, I'll make them rent
Motel 6?
No, a car. I'll make them rent a car off of Turo or whatever, and they have to live in it for the whole week out front of the club, passing out flyers.
Dude, there's this guy.
You know, there's stories like that. That's real, by the way. Like, as much as I joke,
Oh, yeah.
I know stories about guys that are like,
Dude, Craig Shoemaker tortures his opening act.
why?
They have to go up. There's a script that they have to read.
Why would you do
where
that?
they have to say the intro is like a fucking 5-minute A&E's biography of Craig Shoemaker. And then they have to promote his merch throughout their set.
Why?
And then at the end, they do a whole like QVC sales pitch.
Right. If you want to get started,
And
get a
then-
shirt, get a hat, get a mug.
Then they got to stand at the merch table and do the actual selling of the merch. They have to pack it up.
And
They
take
have
it home.
to travel with it.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's not worth it. I would say if this is news to any opener and young in comedy, if paying your dues means doing all of that stuff, then don't pay your dues in that regard. Do it. Find a different way to pay your dues because that's just not how it works. You don't need to do all this. Like, I'm not going to say who told me because he didn't. It's not my business to say his name, but I can say Paulie. But Paulie had an opener that we knew. Paulie had a new opener years ago that we know, and that's the guy who told me the story. And he used to make them go when they would go get lunch, right? Like when you take your fucking opener for lunch or whatever, you buy them a fucking lunch because they're probably not making any money.
Yeah.
And just do the right thing. Take them to fucking lunch. Don't be like whatever. But he would take them. He would take them.
Paulie would take the opener to lunch?
Yes. That's what I'm saying. As a headliner, it's like pay for their fucking
of
lunch.
Of course, it's like it's a rule.
But it's also what is lunch? You know what I mean? Like let them get a fucking chicken sandwich. Some big deal. He would make sure they would only go to Subway. And he'd make him get a foot long, and it's like he used to go, you eat 6 inches now, and you eat 6 inches later. So he would make them have lunch and dinner from Subway. That was his rule. If I'm buying the sub, you eat 6 now. If the club doesn't have food, you better have that sandwich, buddy.
He's his mother's son.
Meanwhile, he's making fucking 15
That's
grand,
right.
20 grand.
Well, what was Mitzi making at the store when she wasn't paying anybody?
I heard $100,000 a week at the height.
Wow.
$100,000 a week was the rumor, and I did the math on this because I'm obsessed with the inflation calculator. It's like one of my, I don't know why for years I've been obsessed with finding out what things were then. So in 1979, when the strike was going on, they said $100,000 a week was like what they averaged it, and that's about $340,000 to $365,000 a week in today's money. Damn. That's about anywhere from $16 to $18 million.
$15 million, a year.
16 to 8, depending on how accurate those numbers are.
Back then, 95% cash, which means they claimed about a third of that.
Yeah, to the government, they're like, "You're only making $40,000 a year."
Yeah.
She's like, "Mm-hmm."
That's right.
Yeah, and by the way, that's also back then. A house in the hills maybe was $500,000.
Right.
A
$500,000.
A mansion, I mean, with like a mega mansion that they
not
had was
even, right.
probably $300,000 or $400,000.
Yeah, right.
For a fucking 9-bedroom, because they lived in a famous person's house. I can't remember who it was.
Oh, really?
They bought somebody famous's house.
Tori Spelling?
No. It was like an old film star. Tori Spelling. It was an old film star. I'm trying to remember who it was now. God damn it. Rock Hudson. No, I don't remember who it was. You know, he didn't even die of AIDS. Do you know that?
I thought he died of AIDS.
Faked his death.
No shit.
Faked his death. He moved to Omaha, Nebraska. Was into corn. Got into corn, barley farming. Then opened up some of the biggest bourbon distilleries. Had moved to Kentucky. Took all this corn land research. Yeah, it's all a lie.
You're kidding, right?
Yep.
Not gay? Rock Hudson not
Rock
gay?
Hudson, not gay. Not gay.
So he was in the closet, but kidding about being in the closet. He really was not.
He was not. He wasn't not gay. He wasn't not gay.
Yeah.
That's funny. That's like my buddy's uncle. I'll never forget. He says when Magic got AIDS, got HIV, this like South Side Chicago guy, my buddy's uncle was like, he goes, he's fucking gay, dude. And me and my buddy are like, he's not gay, dude. He's got a wife. He's got kids. What are you talking about? And he goes, oh yeah? How many straight guys you know got AIDS? And that sat with me as a kid for years. I was like, none. I don't know any. He goes, yeah, he's gay.
That's
And it was this just thing that hit home that like in my mind I was like, that can't be true.
Who are his best friends? Arsenio Hall, who is, if you've seen him lately, his feet don't touch the ground. He's so gay. These are his two best friends. Eddie Murphy, who was picked up with a transvestite.
Transsexual.
Transsexual.
I don't know what it is. I don't know which one
difference.
it is. Yeah, I don't know the right terminology, but yeah.
And I heard I did a radio show in Indianapolis, and afterwards there was another guest on, and she was one of Heidi Fleiss's prostitutes.
Yeah.
And she told me, and I believe this was in her book, so this I'm not putting out. She said she was hired, and she went with two other prostitutes to a hotel room, and it was Magic, Eddie Murphy, and Arsenio Hall, and they were on a bed, and they were paid to do cheers. And while they were doing the cheer, those three guys were blowing each other, and the cheer was, suck his dick, blow him, blow him. This is what she said to me. This is what she said to me. And we're at breakfast in Indianapolis, and I'm wiping tears from my eyes. I'm like, this is the greatest story I've ever heard.
Blow him, blow.
Because
BLOW him. I see all these high school cheers. Blow him, blow, go, blow, blow. Dude, honestly though, you hear these stories and you go, oh God, this is fucking just people. But at some point you gotta go, I don't know. Like something's gotta be true there. Something has to be true there.
Well, if you have that kind of money and you've had sex with every kind of woman in every
I've heard
position,
this. You get tired of pussy?
You try something new.
I don't believe that's it. I don't think you get tired of pussy. I think it's...
No, I don't mean the going gay. I mean the hiring the cheerleaders and doing crazy shit.
Right.
Yeah.
They were already... Yes, that's true. Well, that's like the whole... what always fascinated me about Magic was his wife. What was her name? Cookie or whatever. Whatever. She never got HIV.
Oh.
And that was a tip. That was another thing pointed out by my buddy's Southside uncle. He was like, he was like, plus his wife ain't got no HIV. How you just gonna explain that?
Yeah.
I was like, well, I don't know. Maybe, I don't know. And obviously what he's saying is, and as a kid, I didn't know, he's not having sex with his wife.
Not to mention, if he was having sex with her, because it's all about tearing the tissue on the inside.
I know. Man, me and you know that well. Yes.
I'm not tearing any tissue.
No, not with me, you're not. That's why we're good.
Right.
Yeah, that's why when you fuck me, we're fine. I never bleed when you and I have sex.
I could be riddled with AIDS and fuck you.
and still be fine. Yeah.
Yeah.
I go get tested and they're like, your partner have AIDS? I'm like, oh my God, his red blood cells are through the roof or whatever. They're like, well, you're totally fine. It's very interesting. Let's investigate his penis. Sir, you're never going to give someone AIDS with this penis. You're fine. You can fuck everybody.
Save money on the condoms. You don't need it.
Put that away.
Yeah.
You don't need that. Yeah, I think that well, I've heard all these other rumors that you hear, and I don't know how, like Tom Cruise, that's an old, they're like, Tom Cruise is gay, and I had a friend of a friend of a friend who was like, yeah, he used to be a personal trainer because he wanted to learn Krav Maga, and he would only do Krav Maga training and jiu-jitsu mat training in underwear and Speedos. He refused to wear clothes and made the trainer. And they would get into positions for hours and hours and wrestle. And then it would turn eventually into something, sexual advances and da-da-da-da-da-da. And you're always like, I wonder if these are just wonderful rumors because we like to tell them, or if at some point they're real.
Well, part of it is the Dianetics thing because there is sort of a pattern there. I mean, with John Travolta, who is gay, obviously.
Yeah. By the way, rest in peace, his wife. How sad.
His wife. Oh yeah. That's
She
right, his
just
wife
died.
Yeah, and that's the second wife that's died on him. He dated a much older woman.
Really? I
when
didn't
he
know.
was young. When
Oh,
he was
really?
on like Welcome Back, Kotter, he had a wife who was like 40.
What?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know that
Which
stuff.
again, hallmark gay move.
Yeah, for a young man to be for like a 23-year-old to be dating a 40 or
Yeah.
married to a 45-year-old woman.
Yeah. Red
Right.
flag.
right. That's so obvious.
And so the Dianetics thing of pairing you up with a wife.
Right, the
And
Katie
then-
Holmes thing, right?
And
Right.
Dianetics is a publicity firm. They put out an image of you and they protect it. And they
Right.
sue the fuck out of anybody that will try to out
We're
you.
getting sued right now. I just got a lawsuit. I just felt it.
I bet you if they
Yeah.
see it,
Yeah, they'll sue it. Yeah.
they're gonna take this sweltering 103-degree studio.
I know it's hot. It's hot because the fucking this AC didn't kick on till later. But I want to keep it hot for you because I like to see you in your element of warmth.
This is great. I
glow.
actually fucking love. I love hot. But why do you live here? Here's what I never understand about people.
Yeah.
You know, we live in Los Angeles. We have these beautiful beaches that people fly from around the world to visit.
Yeah.
And if you live near them, you just go, like I go year round. I play paddle tennis on the court. We play volleyball every Sunday, me and a bunch of comics.
You just said why I don't live there at the very beginning of that statement.
The paddle tennis?
No.
Going to the
Millions
beach?
of people come here to be there.
No, but it's not crowded.
But no one's coming up here. Nobody comes anywhere near up here.
That's like saying, yeah, nobody goes to fucking
No one goes up here.
Rancho Cucamonga. Nobody wants to be there.
That's too far.
Yeah.
I live close. I live in a nice little nook. No one bothers me. I got famous people in my fucking... I say hi to Andy Garcia every other day. Okay? I live around
Do
dignitaries.
you have Mexicans in the neighborhood?
Gross. 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 Of course. By the way, what if... this is insane to me. We were late night ordering food, and I go, oh, my favorite taco place is closed. And my buddy goes, there's a bomb-ass taco place right up the street called Daniel's, about 4 miles up the road. And I said, Daniel's is not going to be a good fucking
Right.
taco place. Get the fuck... That's a white guy taco place. Sure enough, I go there, and I'm like, no, this is... Daniel is just the name that they use for
Yeah.
it. This is the OG, like the real shit.
Yeah.
And I had it. I was like, that's so funny how you're quick to judge that you're like, how Mexican is it?
Yeah.
If it's a white guy Mexican place, I'm not going to like it.
Right.
I don't like these white guy Mexican taco places. They're phony bullshit. They're like, they try to be like, like artisanal tacos. Get
Yeah,
the fuck out of
I
here.
know.
Give me the
Give
old
me
school.
a food truck, man.
Yes.
The best Mexican food is on
By
food
far.
truck. Or what about street meat? They have that up here?
Yeah, dude, but street meat to me, I've gotten sick.
Have you?
Yeah. When I first moved here, I only ate street meat because I could only afford street meat.
Yeah.
And I got sick twice in Hollywood.
Wow.
I learned my lesson. But also, I was like, what can I get for less than $3?
Yeah.
Can I have as much of that as I can?
Yeah.
And I was living on, I don't know, $20 a week for food. So I was like, how can I divvy up the week
Yeah.
so I can get through the fucking entire week?
Right.
So I would eat only street meat and ramen saved my life when I first moved out here.
Yeah,
Were you
right.
poor when you moved here or no?
No, I didn't come out here right away. I didn't come out until 2000, I guess. So I'd been doing comedy for like,
Well, okay, when you were
10
you went
years.
Boston to New York, were you
Yeah.
broke in New York?
yes.
What a
Dead
fucking
broke.
nightmare.
It was, and it was absolutely the best times too. It was like the time when you get the closest to your friends. You're just,
Yeah.
I lived in a 6th floor walk up in
Oh.
Little Italy. So I had to walk fucking 6 flights of stairs. And there was mice, and the floors were bent because it was an old tenement that had like settled. You dropped an apple on
Sunk.
the ground, it would like roll to the wall.
Somebody else's apple now.
That's right.
Yeah. Don't drop a fucking piece of somebody else's food.
And
Plus, it was in Little Italy with all those scumbag Italians. You those fucking pieces of shit. I can say that. You can't.
I can.
Those are
because
my people.
The Italians and the Irish really, we fucking hate each other, but yet we get married and we have kids.
Yeah, that's
You
me.
know?
I'm a those.
Yeah.
I'm precisely the. Well, it's no mystery when someone's like Santino. I've talked about it. It's a noise. Oh, you're a redhead named Santino. It's like, yeah. Have you ever been to
Philly, the
fucking
Bronx,
Yeah,
Boston.
the low rent neighborhoods?
Right.
Guess who's living there?
Yep.
Irish and fucking Italian
That's right.
people, because they're like, this is the only place that we can afford, and we're with these pieces of shit, and they'll fight relentlessly over. Who's the king? What is it? Somebody tweeted, this was really funny. Somebody tweeted and sent it to me. They go, this is perfect for you. Some kid from the Bronx goes, I'll fight any fucking Irish person in the United States. I'll pay for your plane ticket to prove that Italians are better than Irish. I thought that was Some Italian kid from the Bronx, like, I'll fight any fucking Irish kid
fucking
in the
great.
U.S. to prove that
And
we're better.
I had two guineas on my podcast this afternoon. I had Michael Imperioli and Steve Sharippa on.
Oh yeah, they're moving around a bunch, doing a bunch of shows.
Yeah, well, they're promoting this Sopranos podcast that they're doing.
I think we were gonna have them on this show, but I said I don't want some fucking wop pigs on my show. You know, I don't want some guinea fucking noodle pigs on my show. Take your spaghetti, fuck off.
Well, in this heat, can you imagine how fucking Italians, the women, the sweat just drips from the armpits?
Yeah.
Because they're hairy and they're
hairy.
oily. They
Yeah.
drink olive oil out of
Yeah.
a bottle.
Yeah.
They just fucking...
This clip will be removed out of context. Fitz and Santino hate on Italian.
Right.
Yeah, Italy Daily will be fucking tweeting about us.
But
Well,
I was thinking when I was talking to them about these were the guys I fucking hated growing up. Because I was born in the Bronx and I lived there till I was about 9. And it was all Italians, as my parents used to
Italians.
say. Italians.
Yeah.
And then we moved to Tarrytown, which was like every type of person. And to this day, when I talk to Irish people, like my friend Mary, I can't say her last name, but she's like,
you
she's
can't?
like, they're dumb. She's like, they're just fucking dumb. They're dumber.
Gallagher, O'Houlihan.
It starts with Fitz.
Oh, does it?
Here's my 3 best friends in LA are Gibbons, Fitzgibbons,
Mike.
and Fitzsimmons. Yeah, and Mike. Yeah.
Mike, yeah. That is so funny.
That's so insane. And then Mike, I should show you my speed dial on my phone. It's Fitzgerald, it's Dugan, it's Malloy, Donovan,
Any Maloney's in there?
O'Neill.
Right.
No Maloney's. And those really are my best friends.
Yeah. But I look more like those people than they probably do.
Yes, you do.
It's so funny. Whenever I go anywhere to any predominantly Irish place, they look at me like I'm the representation in
Yeah.
some way because I have the fucking map of Ireland on my face.
Right.
Meanwhile, most of my family they don't look like you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
there's a handful that kind of look very Irish.
Right.
The Irish face, the pug nose, like the tiny little, but not
I think you carry yourself more like an Italian, though. Like you have more
attitude.
You have more attitude.
Yeah.
Yeah, more
Yeah.
self-confidence.
More of the asshole thing got from the lightheartedness, joke about everything, make fun of sadness. That's the Irish thing.
Right.
But the Italian is like any sense of cockiness, by the way, comes from the Italians. Are the cockiest motherfuckers on earth.
Yep.
Just
Unfounded.
oh yeah, dude, the most, and they like peacocking, like showing off.
Yeah.
Peacocking is inherently an Italian thing. They fucking love showing off.
Mm-hmm.
It's such a big deal to be like, I am the thing.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, Irish are embarrassed. You're not supposed to be there. You should be embarrassed that they let you in,
Yep.
and you should be quiet and hide away until you get approval. And even then, belittle the fact that they even let you in.
You look at where we go. We look at where we drink.
Right.
Irish people, dark bars.
black. Yeah,
You
yeah.
sit at the bar in the corner,
Quiet.
and you listen to fucking sad music. And then Italians, discotheques, mirrored balls spinning with lights flashing,
Showing them themselves. Yeah, just mirrors of themselves everywhere. They can see themselves at all times.
Right.
That is true. It just became I think so. I stole the confident thing from my dad's side because I had to for comedy, for stand up, and I'm lucky that I got that because you have that though. You have this. If you're really funny but don't have enough confidence, you'll literally never make it.
Yeah.
There's guys I know that are hysterical. They just lack the thing of like believing in it, and it's the one thing that'll hold them back.
Yeah.
I have a really good friend. I don't want to say his name, who I think is arguably one of the funniest people at the comedy club in any given time of anybody who's there.
Yeah.
He's got this weird confidence thing where he is confident, but it doesn't feel genuine.
Yeah.
It feels like it's only because he knows he's good.
Sometimes, though, I think the confidence thing at the store has become so primary. It's
Like that overtakes jokes.
Yes.
Sure.
I feel like the bravado on stage has almost become bigger than the joke writing and the subtlety that you see in other places. And yet, I do think it's the best place to do comedy in LA.
Yeah.
The crowds that show up there, I don't know why, but they're there for the ride. They show up to fucking laugh. And you don't
Yeah.
see that in the other clubs as much.
No, well, you don't see that in almost anything as much, and I think it's also because of the namesake. People know the history. They know that they're going to get a mixed bag of nuts.
Yeah.
I think they're excited about that.
Right.
I think that's hard to sell somebody who doesn't have a familiarity with what the history of the place is.
Yeah.
they would just go like, why is this so strange? Like, when like there's comment cards at certain comedy clubs.
Yeah.
And they'll complain about a feature or something.
Yeah.
And it's like, we only came to see the headliner. It's
Right,
like, are you
right.
that much of a cunt that you can't sit through someone that I think is also talented?
Yeah.
Like, you just don't want to invest your time in anybody else. Like, that's how spoiled we are as consumers of entertainment. It just goes to show. We talked about, like, can't watch an hour of stand-up anymore either because we're like, I don't need to.
Yeah.
I'll fucking watch 6 minutes and I'm good.
Right.
Give me what you've got in this little thing, Although Quibi proved to not be the model. I think they thought that was going to be the thing. And
Who knew that people weren't going to pay anything for the internet? It's literally where it's like, what do they say? $2? Give us $2 a month and we will program the biggest stars with $1 million budgets. People are like, nah, not even going to do that.
No. I think the biggest problem with it is that it wasn't authentic. It's not organic.
Right,
People are cool with
yeah.
paying as
Yeah.
long as they feel like it's organic.
That's true.
This sounds like a bunch of old white guys in which it is, we're like, we have to make a YouTube for the phone, but with famous people.
Yeah.
And and young kids are smart. Like, your kids are fucking so smart. It's
Yeah.
unbelievable that they even associate with you anymore.
Yeah.
Because your level of intelligence, it's fine. But your kids are really intelligent.
I try so hard. I swear to God, I really do.
But you know how smart they are, and you know that they know your bullshit. So, like, I guess maybe I was dumber. We didn't see through as much shit. And now that they're so privy and informed, kids go, nah, that's fucking phony.
They knew it before it launched. I remember talking to them about Quibi, and they're like, Dad, it's going to last he's eating cereal on his phone. I go, Dad, yeah, it's going to last 2 weeks.
Because they've grown up in a time when the curtain is exposed. Like, they always see the man behind the curtain. Do you know what I mean? Like, our generation, my generation, I didn't really see it as much. There wasn't as much behind the scenes. We didn't get it yet.
Yeah.
But their generation is pure, like, here's everything. That's how the machine works.
Yeah.
They see how the sausage is made now.
But someone's still got to pay for the machine. And that's the thing about the internet is, like, we could use it to tour and make money. But now that we're not touring, and we may not this year really
I think
all,
not till next year, yeah.
Then how do you monetize? Well, podcasting you can monetize. But for a lot of other comics that aren't podcasting, it's very hard to figure out how you're going to, try to
I think a lot of people are going to move
pay
home.
the rent. Yeah.
A lot of people are going to move home, or sex work is big. I know you have an OnlyFans page where you do a feet show every Tuesdays and Thursdays. Is that what it is?
Yeah, and what I do is one of my feet I don't groom because some of the guys are into the dirty shit.
Right, yeah.
So I paint them so they look like Joey Diaz's feet with all the fungus. And the other one, I buff the fuck out of it.
Shine it up.
Like a Thai woman. I stay on top of that shit. I get the cuticles nice and rounded.
Yeah.
Pluck the hairs on the knuckles.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Well, if you want to go see it, it's Fitz Baby Boy's feet at onlyfans.com.
And that exists, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah,
Somebody's already got
Baby
that
Boy's
one.
feet. Yeah, you know it does. Let me ask you one thing. I love doing your show. I did your show. I had a great time on your show. I'm interested because your rhythm as a comedian is so different than it is as when you podcast. Are there people that you think are going to play well with you on there that don't at all?
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean by that? Like,
Yeah.
because your rhythm as a stand-up and as a guy is significantly different than what you do on your show. Are there people that you get that think that they know what they're getting into, but they can't hang?
I had a really bad incident with
Now you got to say,
Rob Corddry's brother.
is he in entertainment as well?
Yeah, he's on He's on sitcoms.
Oh,
he's
shit.
like really big.
Oh, okay.
And he came on the podcast because I'm friends with his brother.
Yeah, Rob's funny.
And I reached out to Rob. Is beyond funny.
Yeah, he's very funny.
Fucking great and
Yeah.
the greatest guy. And I don't know if I reached out to him or his brother reached out to me, but he came on the show, and because it was Rob's brother, I just assumed because Rob is a huge ball buster.
Yeah.
So I go right in on him. Mm-hmm. And on the air, I start going after him. And he looks at me like I just called his mother a cunt. I was like, what the fuck? And then we kind of like, we talk. I go, are you all right? And he was like, no, that was really not. And so we kind of went back and forth. And then, when you put a Band-Aid on it, but it ain't healed.
It's hemorrhaging blood on the side of the Band-Aid.
For 45 minutes, there is blood dripping off the Band-Aid. And we finally finished, and I'm like, all right, go get this thing cauterized because... and then he like tweeted some shit about it afterwards.
Oh, like he was like a fuck you a little bit?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
He just couldn't take the hit?
Couldn't he? Just
But it was
didn't-
just
he
a-
didn't, I shouldn't say he couldn't take the hit. He didn't get the tone. I think he's got a very, and I've talked to people that know him, and he's a different personality than his brother.
Sure, but I mean, yeah.
But that's my other thing. Listen to my podcast.
yeah,
Do me this. If you're gonna come on my podcast and I'm gonna promote your shit or
yeah,
whatever,
Yeah.
give me 10 minutes. You don't
Yeah.
have to listen to the whole hour. Just get a sense of what the show is
Understand
about.
the kind of vibe, the
Yes.
rhythm. The rhythm. Well, but that's also like comics. Just also, we often assume that people are going to get, they're going to get the rhythm to things of our comedy. Go, of course I'm kidding. Of course I'm kidding.
Right.
You don't need to say it every 2 seconds, but some people don't. And look, I'm going to tell somebody else's story, but it just made me think of it. I can't say his name because I don't want to bury him. But
I can't wait for this to be over so we can like
yeah,
compare notes on all the people.
I know. On the names.
Yeah.
He was at a party, at a house party in the east side of East LA, and a very progressive group of people who are extremely left leaning, and it's very woke. It's a very woke group of people, right?
Yeah.
And he's moderate in that sense. Like he's not overly, but he's like very conscious of it. But he's like, I'm there with like, and he's gay, and he's like, I'm there with a bunch of lesbians and gay people, and kind of like loose sense of humor. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like we're all talking shit and joking around. I'm thinking everything's a joke. Well, the people that live there have 2 adopted daughters, and one of the daughters is running around the backyard naked. Young little girl. She's running around naked, and they're running the sprinklers, and everyone's laughing. It's like a picnic, a barbecue. And he turns to one of the people at the barbecue and goes, "She's a little young to be shaving, don't you think?" And the people, and they couldn't do it. They were like, the record stopped. Everyone was like, "What did you?"
Oh,
just
he
say?
didn't just say it to one person. He said it aloud
Well, it was like up
to
to
the
a mini part of the party,
Yeah.
like 3 or 4 people.
Oh,
And they,
shit.
hey, they kicked him out, and they never asked him to come. He never talked to these people ever again who own the house. I'll tell you afterwards who it is.
Oh, that's fucking
But that's the idea.
great.
Is he's a comic. He's a writer, and
The worst part is when we think it, we can't not say it. To at least one person, the thought has to come out.
oh well, he had said in retrospect, as he was saying it, he thought, "Do I know them well enough
Yeah.
to make this fucking joke?"
Yeah.
Because as a comic,
And is the joke good enough?
I think that's who wouldn't laugh? I
Yeah.
mean, holy fuck! It's
It
not.
doesn't get any better than
Well, it's
that
not
joke.
gross. It's not
Yeah.
sexualizing. It's making a off-colored,
Yeah.
slighted joke. I mean,
Yeah.
it's like your kids running around butt naked. It's like such a throwaway joke. But they were so offended by it that they were like, they never talked again. And he was like, he had seen one of their friends down the road somewhere, and they ignored him as if
Yeah.
it was like you're like the most disgusting, evil. Because we've all made an off-color joke thinking it's harmless.
Yeah.
I don't mean anything by the thing, but I've had people take things wrong that you're like, oh boy, and
Yeah.
it fucks up the whole night
Yeah.
or fucks up the whole podcast.
I was at a party one time, and I told you my kids went to the Spanish immersion school. So we're at a party with parents, and I'm talking about a crowd. I'm talking like a couple guys I know, and I said they were like better behaved than a Mexican family at a bus stop. And this guy jumps in and he goes, "Hey, that's really fucking racist." I go, "What are you talking about?" I go, "Mexican kids are way better behaved
Yeah, that's a compliment.
than white kids." I go, "That's a compliment." He
Yeah.
goes, "You can't generalize." I go, "Yeah, you actually can, because they're here. A lot of them are here, and they're trying to make their way in this country.
Yeah.
A lot of them are undocumented. They're not trying to cause a lot of
Cause a stir. Yeah.
cause a stir,
Yeah.
and so they tend to be better behaved.
Yeah,
and
white
they
kids
also
are assholes.
they come from intact Catholic families where there's a respect for your elders. They're
Right.
just better fucking.
Yeah, they're good kids.
And this guy was a judge. He's a judge on the West Side. And we got into it. And it turns out later this guy's a complete fucking asshole.
I could tell.
I'm sure he's listening to this. And to this day, he and I, if we're at a party together, it's like,
Fuck you.
yeah, it's a fuck you. But I take that as a badge of honor.
Yeah.
There's certain times in those social, I walk away going like, I can back that up.
Yeah, because you were right. It's a funny
Yeah.
joke about a true thing.
Right.
Also, is he a white guy?
Yeah, he's a liberal West Side
so
judge.
again, this goes back to my original point. The people that get the most mad at these things typically aren't the things that you're joking, and the people that you would laugh the most with are the people that you're talking about.
Yeah.
I said on a podcast, because I had said, an old joke used to be, my dad has more ex-wives than my black friends have shoes. And any black friend I know is like, yeah, that's hilarious. That's hilarious. Yeah, because fuck it. But I've had a white comic friend be like, I don't know, man. I don't know if you can say that. It's like, no, I can't. Do you have black friends? No. That's why you don't get the joke, because there's no application to you.
Right. You can't personalize it. You can't run that through the filter of how you would have felt with your black friends.
Right, because you don't have it. So if it doesn't exist, it's like saying, when you say that joke, more behaved than a Mexican kid at a bus stop, in his mind, he hears Mexican kid. Yeah. That's the only target, that the trigger word. It's not, are you listening to what I just fucking said?
Right.
I mean, I have a joke that I do in my set that's about, I talk about a handicapped girl, a story about a handicapped girl. And without giving it away, I had a woman just lose it on me. And I said, do you have a handicapped child? Because if you listen to the joke, it's talking about how misrepresented handicapped people are and how people just view them and think about them as less than. That's what the joke is actually making fun of society.
Right.
And she says, no, but I'm offended by it. She has no relevance to handicap.
Yeah.
So after the show, 2 guys come up to me. Two dads, probably, like late 40s, early 50s. And they waited forever. They come up to me, and the one guy says, hey, man, we are, we live in the same neighborhood. We both have handicapped kids. And I was like, fuck. Like, get my seatbelt on. Like, I'm like, well, these guys are they going to fight me outside after, And they were like, we fucking love that shit.
Great.
Because he was like, it was just so honest and funny. And also, what a comment about about society's view of handicapped people.
Yeah.
And I wish I could have fucking taken their words out of their mouth and thrown it at that idiot.
Yeah.
But it was like, that's the world we live in, is like,
Right.
she has no context. That's the problem with comedy's cancel culture, is it's mostly people that don't have any relation to the thing they're the most mad about.
Yeah.
They feel like they're supposed to be mad for these people.
Right.
Which inherently is racist. That's like this white savior, like, I'll protect the Mexicans for the Mexicans. Like, who the fuck are you?
Yeah, I had a woman open it for me. It wasn't I just said the name of the person I was trying to protect.
Yeah.
It wasn't Erica Rose or somebody else. Can I still tell the story?
We can
No, I
bleep. I'll
can't.
bleep the name.
Okay.
I'll bleep the name.
And I did a joke about rape in my act, and it wasn't it was about rape. It wasn't attacking the victim of rape.
Right. You're talking about the subject of rape.
Yes.
Right. Okay.
About how I was walking down a hallway in a hotel, and like I got in an elevator late at night, and there was a woman already on, and I went to push 5, and she had already pushed 5. And so we wait, the door opens, we get out, and she goes left, and I'm going left also. Now we're like walking down this long hallway. It's 1 a.m.
This is happening to everybody, by the way.
Right.
Yeah.
And I start to feel like this is what it must feel like to be a rapist, And then I just start saying to myself, don't do it. And so it's like pretty harmless joke, and it's about a real thing. And so this woman comes up to me afterwards, and she's in the lobby. That's a fucked up joke. People have been raped, and that's triggering or whatever. And the woman who's open for me looked at the woman, and she goes, I've been raped, and I think it's a hilarious joke.
Oh, that's great.
And I went, thank you so much. That was so fucking cool of you.
Yeah,
to do
because
that.
also, again, it's a trigger word that triggered her. Now, whether she had been sexually assaulted at some point in her life, that's not the point.
Yeah.
She didn't hear the rest of the joke.
Yeah.
You weren't saying, and it's okay to you weren't validating something evil. You're talking about something because if we can't talk about fucked up shit and talk about the world within it, then we're never going to have any sort of social talk ever
and
again.
I talked to Attell a lot about this, and he's upset. He's always obsessed with how like things are getting so PC, and he doesn't think he's going to be able to tour anymore. And I'm like,
that's not true,
Dave. It's the opposite.
Yes.
It's the opposite. There's so many people that need a relief from this, that want to go to a comedy club and hear you say things that they can't say that they used to be able to say.
Or they still talk about, but they only talk about it at home or with one friend or
right.
Yeah, I don't believe in that rhetoric of like, what can you say anymore? It's like anything you fucking want. If it's funny, that was like Patrice's oldest rule. Was like you can say fucking anything.
Yeah.
If you're funny and you believe in it, you could say it.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean everyone's gonna like it.
Yeah.
But you can say it. There is no one going, you can't say it. It's like, yes, you fucking can.
Yeah.
It's just, how are you saying it? And what are you really saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like that joke is a fucking great joke. Because you're like, in your mind, many men have gone down that hallway and you want to go, ma'am, I'm not going to do
Yeah,
anything.
yeah,
I
right.
just, this isn't a coincidence.
Yeah.
You know,
You
you're
start
saying,
whistling.
right. Yeah. What's that, sweetheart? I'm on my way home. You know,
Yeah, right.
Yeah, you want to justify the idea of like, this is what creepiness is, and I'm not trying to be creepy.
And it's
That's
about
the
how
world of it.
society makes you feel creepy.
Creepy.
It's like, I have a hard time being around little kids.
Well, that's because of your past. That's because of your past.
That is long past. My libido is so much lower now.
But why? Because when you're around kids, you think societally, you're like,
Yeah, I feel like I can't play with a strange kid in a park. Like, and I'm not even kidding. Like,
I know what you mean.
We go to Central Park in the summer. We go back to New York every year for a couple weeks, and we go to Central Park every fucking day with the kids, or when they were little. And I would always play with little kids, and I play with my son and kids that he met. And
Can't do
now
that.
I don't fuck with anybody's kids anymore.
dude, it's so funny when I take the dog to the dog park or just to any park, kids always want to play with my dog, and I'm so reluctant to let them because I don't want to have the conversation with the parent that's like, come on, Steven, come on, Timmy, you know, like, and give me this weird, like, why are you talking to my kid?
Right.
Because the innocence has gone.
Yeah.
They assume right away because I'm talking to the kid because they're talking to the dog. Because I'll go, what's your name, you know? And Mikey, oh, Mikey, do you guys have a dog at your house? Immediately to a parent, they're like, what are you trying to get in my kid's head, perv? You know, It's like, oh no, I just want. So now I'm reluctant to I don't say hi to any of the kids. I don't let kids pet the dog anymore because parents have this weird protective. When opposite of when we were a kid, my parents were like, see you in a couple hours. You know, we could go out and be like, this man talked to me in a van, and my dad's like, okay, all right, good
Hope
night.
you got some candy out of the deal. My dad used to wrestle with my friends.
Yeah,
We used to fucking wrestle around. We were like, 7, 8 years old. It'd be a sleepover, and we'd have the pile on.
Right.
And
Throw kids over the couch and shit.
Yeah.
Beat the shit out of us.
Right.
No, you can't do that now. You do that with your kids' friends, you're going to fucking prison.
You can barely do it to your own kids.
Right. Well, you can. You just have to make sure they know how to shut up. If you're gonna hit your kids, you got to make them shut the fuck up. I like that's the one thing. You can hit your kids, but it has to be a learned thing where it's like I hit you, but you don't talk about me hitting you.
Yeah.
That's what they need to learn.
And they don't know naturally.
No, you
they
have to
talk. They're fucking talkers. You got to change that.
You're gonna hit them. You got to hit them into silence.
Yeah.
All right. We end every episode the same way.
Wait, there's something I wanted to ask you.
6'1", 6.5 inches.
Have you measured your dick? And if you do, is it from where the stomach hits the base of the shaft? Because some guys will cheat and they'll try to go from the underside.
No. You
That's
can't,
a cheat.
That's a big cheat. Yeah, no, you can't cheat. No, it's got to be, and I haven't done it in a long time, but high school, that was probably the biggest. High school or college is when that became, it's when you become aware that other people have penises of many different sizes.
Yeah.
Because you either in sports or, you know what I mean? Like when you see roommates, you're like, shit. Or you're like, okay, I'm good. I'm fine.
Yeah.
It becomes this weird duality meter of like, so much confidence or so much or a lack of confidence because your friends are just beasts and you're like, oh, you know, like I played high school basketball.
Yeah.
I mean,
So everybody was big.
I mean, I showered at home. That knocked out my ego bad.
Yeah.
I mean, there were dudes, two of them became pro football players, by the way. I played with 2 pro athletes.
No shit.
Yeah, it was embarrassing.
Wow.
It was disgusting.
Yeah.
It was disgusting. As a freshman, to make varsity and be near that these guys are men. They're men, and I'm a little penis boy.
That's why you got to play like badminton, more of an Asian game.
Swimming.
Swimming.
I was on the math team. We never showered. You got to be on chess teams. You got to get to these Asian games, then you're good. Right. Yeah, no, that was etched into my brain forever. Seeing penises when you play sports will forever. It actually shapes you as a man. It gives you like okay. I feel good in this category. I'm that guy's much smaller than me.
Yeah.
That guy's about my size. These guys are fucking athletes. They're pro. I'm never going to compete.
Those are guys that don't even look down.
They don't even know.
Like you see them from the time they unzip to the time they take them off to the time they walk. They don't look down once.
One of the kids in my high school.
I'm fucking fluffing. I'm looking around.
Smacking it, trying to get it juiced up. This guy used to sit naked on the bench. He'd put his towel on the bench, and he would sit and have conversations with guys as they were getting changed.
Yeah.
But it wasn't because he was like, look at my big dick. It's just because when you have one, it doesn't matter if they see it.
Yeah.
He wasn't like showing it off, but he was just like, we'd be telling jokes and laughing.
Yeah.
But I'd be doing the hide the towel, hide the penis. You know what I mean?
The
Like
RuPaul Drag Race.
yeah, I'd be doing the RuPaul Drag Race talk. You hold this tape, I'd make him tuck. You hold the tape for me? Thanks, bud.
Dude, can someone tape me up?
That honestly, it was the way I learned about like that gives you a little bit of confidence when you go, okay, I'm fine.
Yeah.
I'm a normal penis guy.
Right.
Because the fear is like, if you're the smallest guy in the locker room, it's just
You're going to get a nickname.
yes, you're gonna get a nickname. You know what I mean? The turtle. We call this guy the turtle.
Cigar butt.
Cigar butt because it would just bury itself in the nutsack.
Yeah.
And you're like, that poor guy. That's what he's. What was your nickname? Were you cigar butt? Did you have a nickname
No, I had to actually.
other than Fitz?
Here's the thing: is I have a big penis, and I'm not saying that in a way.
No, I've seen the Reddit thread.
Have you?
No.
No, but it's just something that comics talk about
Sure.
because I slept with a few female comics and they all talked about it.
Sure.
And that one in particular I dated and broke up with me because it hurt too much.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's great.
And so Colin Quinn heard about it. So I went on Tough Crowd one time and I was with Patrice and I was with Colin and somebody else I'll tell you after the show.
Okay.
Another woman. And Colin called me on it. He goes, I keep hearing these rumors, Fitzsimmons. Let's see it. And so I didn't miss a beat. I unzipped my pants.
On the show?
I pulled, no, backstage
Oh,
in the green room.
okay.
I whip it out. And you know it's a decent size when you say whip.
Yeah, whip is You don't say like pull it
Pull
out.
means you got to look for it. You got to
sneak
pull
it out. Yeah.
Yeah.
I shuffled it out.
I shovel it out.
I coerced it out of its home.
So I unleash it, and Colin goes, "Holy shit, that's for real!" And there was a black woman in the room, and she nodded, and Colin went, "That's all I need to see is her nod."
She gave you a verification.
Yeah. And then he brought it up on the show, and then he brought it every time I did the show after that. He would bring it up.
And now that woman, that comic, is going to sue you.
But when I was a kid, we
Yeah.
were swimming in the Tarrytown Lake in the spring, and I
Yeah.
got out, and it was small, and they
Oh.
called me Cigar Butt.
Shut up.
Yeah, it didn't last forever, but for a couple of years, I was Cigar Butt.
That one hurts.
That hurt.
I was Opie.
Yeah,
All the black kids called me Opie.
yeah.
Was that there go Opie Taylor right there? That's what they'd say all the time. Hey, there go Opie right there. And that didn't hurt my feelings, but it did. I just couldn't believe that many black guys watched Andy Griffith.
Yeah.
That was really. I was like, really? They knew Andy Griffith's show?
Yeah.
Like, it's such a white nerd show.
Right.
So if I would have had comedy chops back then, I would have made fun of them for that. Like, what are you
Right.
watching old white guy bullshit shows
Yeah.
for? Because Opie was such a specific reference.
Yeah, like Wu-Tang had some songs that were like quoting white. I can't remember what the quotes were, but I just remember they always had like things you go like, when did the fucking Wu-Tang Clan watch?
Yeah, like, why?
you know, the Brady Bunch.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that because you realize that like even if dudes are cool, everyone has a nerd element in them.
Yeah,
Where
right.
they all hide it. You know, you find out that some of the most like I'm too cool guys have such nerdy shit that they're in love with, but they just don't talk about it because they're embarrassed. You'll
Yeah.
find out that they're a normal dork like everybody.
Right.
Yeah, Opie was the only one that stuck with me that I like that it was annoying to me almost that I was like, what a lame. It's not even an insult.
Yeah.
It's just like the redheaded
Well, which
kid on
is a
TV.
compliment. If it's not a hard insult, it's
I know,
kinda like,
but it was almost so. It's like a lazy.
yeah.
Like
yeah.
Carrot Top was lazy. It's so lazy.
Yeah.
It was like, oh, that's so lazy.
Right.
What the goofy comic that you see that also has in color? Like, hit me with something hard. Like, give me the thing if you're gonna hit me with, like, insults to me. If you were making fun of somebody, it's like, really fuck them up.
All right, let's come up with nicknames for each other
Okay.
that will really hurt.
Okay, do it.
Bad Breath Johnson,
Okay.
because you have really bad breath.
Okay. Old pussy neck Fitzsimmons.
You don't have bad breath. I couldn't think anything.
I
mean.
know. And
I was gonna
I
say
said the
some-
pussy neck because you said it.
I was gonna say something about your eyebrows, but I couldn't think of
They're
anything.
bushy. They're
real
really
bushy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cunt face.
Old cunt face.
Old cunt face.
What about old? Did you ever get I kick a football through them teeth?
Oh yeah. I got.
But
a
your
lot of-
gap isn't really big.
It's actually perfect. It's enough where when they do a caricature of you, a
That's-
fan sends you some art, it gives them something to work with.
that's like a butt chin. You have kind of a butt chin.
Yeah.
But you have a slight enough where it's got the man element,
Yeah.
and the gap teeth is the man element. When somebody has too much of a butt or too big of a gap,
Yeah.
then it's embarrassing and funny.
Then
again.
you're Paul Scheer.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Yep.
Then it becomes a joke bit. Then you have to be a goofball.
Yeah.
Otherwise, people are like, you can't take you serious. You have an ass on your face.
I can still be a leading man in, say a $60 to $75 movie. That'd be the budget.
You could be a leading guy. You could still be a lead in
You think
something.
so?
Why not?
Wow.
Why can't don't you think we're going to come back to this place of like, people are tired of seeing who they think they're supposed to see on film and not just...
I think so. Yes.
Like, don't you want to see people that look like fucking humans anymore?
Yeah.
Like, how many women look like Gal Gadot? 2? She's not a real fucking person.
I know. I watched a sitcom on ABC last year. I can't remember the name, but like the leads were in bed and they thought they heard something downstairs. So they both got up out of bed to go run downstairs with like a broom and something. And they're wearing underwear and he's got on tighty whities. He is fucking ripped and tan and gorgeous. And she looks like a Victoria's Secret model. I'm like, what was the casting session like for this comedy show?
Yeah,
Were these the funniest people that came in that day?
Dude.
Or was Eddie Pepitone in the lobby,
Right.
ready to fucking destroy the lines?
Right. And they just were like,
Yeah.
there's a nude scene in the first act and
Yeah.
we just can't. Yeah, I just think people are tired of seeing people that don't look like people anymore.
Yeah.
You should look like a human. It should be...
Yeah.
Like, if we're going to embrace this whole culture with women of, like, this feminist push to be, like, all body sizes are beautiful. And it's like, okay, great. Then let fucking normal-looking people in Hollywood then.
Right.
Because who wants to fucking... Looking at beautiful people is good for certain things. I get it. But don't you want to feel like those are real things that you're looking at anymore?
Yeah.
Because at some point, you see a movie, it takes you out. I said this before. I watched Will Ferrell's new movie, Eurovision, and I love Will. I've always loved him, but it's gotten to the point where all I see is Will now. I don't see the person he's trying to play,
Yeah.
which I think is a tough breaking point for me for characters of like, you got to get someone new and you got to get someone different. I'm not saying like someone, get the young class in there. It's like, there's a million other people
Yeah.
that I want to look at them and not see Will Ferrell.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like I was watching it, trying, and I was like, it's Will Ferrell.
Yeah.
It's Will Ferrell. I kept looping Will Ferrell in my head.
Right.
You can't escape anymore. I feel like the more shows come out with new people, the more I'm excited.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, oh, fuck, I've never seen this person. They may be big in Britain or whatever, or like have had one or two sitcoms here, but I just rather invest in the new.
Who's the guy that gets roles that you want to be getting or who you know you're competing with?
Honestly, no, I don't. I used to joke me and Ian Edwards would go out for the same stuff. That's how little they did. Swear to God. It would be like 3 black guys and me.
Really?
Yes, I swear all the time I'd be put in this class of like non-white, because Hollywood pretended to not be racist. They were so racist. They'd be like, bring in the blacks and the ne'er-do-wells, like whatever they categorize.
Yeah.
So it would be like me, a guy who has like an ear down here, and like one black guy and a Puerto Rican kid.
Uh-huh.
I was in this group of nonsense guys for years until
Yeah.
they finally were like, oh my God, we are racist. And they overcorrected their mistake and realized that they were even more racist now than they ever were. But that's a whole nother discussion. But there was never a guy that I always went up against. I never had like one guy that was, who gets roles that I like a lot? I don't know. I mean, maybe, I feel like that Miles Teller kid gets a lot of cool stuff.
Who's that?
He was in the drum movie with J.K. Simmons. Why can't I think
Yeah. Right.
why can't I think of his fucking... Anyway, he's kind of like a young, cool kid that I'm like, I could do some of those cool roles. I could do something near that. I don't know. I've never... Why? Have you have someone that stole a role from you?
Callan. Every time I'd go to an audition.
Really?
Every pilot season, I'd
so
walk
much
in.
funnier than
and
that
I'd
guy.
see. I would see.
It wasn't talent then. It was just a...
It was. He'd be signed in.
Yeah.
And I could hear laughing in the room, and then the door would open, arm around one of them, kisses another one on the cheek,
Yeah.
sexually harassing everybody. And, with a fucking half a bulge sticking out that,
Yeah.
he's got a sock in there.
Yeah. Well, he has the pump. He's got a pump.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And
And
I would
he'd
just be
steal
like,
rolls
all
from
right,
you.
do you validate parking? Because I'm not even going in. I'm going home.
No, I never had one guy that like that stole rolls, but I did. This is bad, but I did. And not talking bad about him, but the guy that they put me up against for when I did I'm Dying Up Here. This is awful. They put me up against this guy, knowing that I think they were going to pick me, which was a really weird move. Like they had been kind of candid with my team about being like,
well, because they probably need to negotiate against you.
yeah, but it was, you know, in retrospect, I was like, that was fucked up for this
Yeah.
guy. He flew out from New York, you know.
Oh, really?
Like, and he's a good actor. He's a good dude.
Yeah.
And then halfway through the first season, I had gotten a talk from when they were doing This Is Us. And I'd known the showrunner and I'd known some people over there. And they were like, hey, they want you to do this one role. There's one other guy up for it. And it was the same fucking kid.
No shit.
And I got that over him
Oh,
too. So he
wow.
fucking, hey, he probably sees me
Yeah.
and is like, fuck that guy.
Yeah.
Fuck that guy. Because we interacted a few times. He was like, hey, man. And I was like, oh, fuck.
Yeah.
And can I say this? This is mean. But I knew I was going to get it over him as well. Like, it was just a...
Well, now you know every time because there's an alpha status. That's
Well,
been
it sucked,
established.
but I could feel it. When it was
Yeah.
him, I was like, oh, fuck, I'm going to beat you for this.
Yeah.
He's going to want to murder me.
Yeah.
And he probably does hate my fucking guy. He probably sees me, anytime he sees me on anything, he's probably...
Well, a lot of people.
hate me. Yeah.
Yeah.
You are the organizer of that list. Why do you keep passing that around? I don't like that.
I'm BCC'd. I've tried to get off the list
Well,
for a
come on,
long
dude,
time.
please. Can you stop?
Yeah. No, it's got a life of its own now. I mean, every
got
comedy
legs.
community is in it. Like
Yeah.
Austin comics.
What?
Yeah, Houston comics. Fucking. I heard in Spain, and this is weird because I didn't know there was stand up in Spain.
There's a good scene there now.
They fucking hate you.
What?
Hate you.
Fuck.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you know, it is what it is. I mean, you know, at the end of the day, I'll keep working and being funny and trying my best, and one day I can be like you.
That's right. Turkey Neck McGee.
All right. Look in the camera, and we end the episode with one word.
Can I plug my?
No, your shit is meaningless. What? Yeah, of course.
I got a new podcast that you mentioned Mike Gibbons before.
Yes.
And, you know, having guests is great, but like we've been best friends since college.
Yeah.
And if you don't know Mike Gibbons, he's a guy who created a lot of shows. He created Tosh.0 and
Very smart. Very
the
talented.
Showbiz Show with David Spade. And he's worked with everybody, all the Between Two Ferns. And
Yep.
so we do every Sunday, we tape it on Saturday. We get the Sunday paper early, and we rip through it, and we do each section of the news. And it makes this look tame, the shit we say about race
Yeah.
and women.
You just let it go.
Well, because we've known each other so long, we just forget we're even taping anything.
Right.
And
It's your Get Me Canceled project.
exactly.
Yeah,
And it's
good.
called Sunday Papers, and it's been growing really fast. And I'm psyched to come on here because I know you have a lot of great listeners, and
They'll
so
love
check it out.
Sunday Papers.
Comes
And
out
you're still
on
doing
Sundays.
you're still doing Fitz. You're still
Fitz
doing
Dog
Fitz Dog
Radio's
Radio.
out there, and then Childish is my other podcast with Allison Rosen.
That one doesn't matter at all. We're gonna bleep that one out. I don't want to
Allison,
mention it.
I'm so sorry. I tried. She'll give me shit if I don't.
No. But those three, listen to them. But especially the new one because that sounds phenomenal.
Yeah.
Sunday Paper.
Sunday Paper.
Listen to it. What are you filming it or no?
Yeah, it's on YouTube also.
All right, great. I'll mention it up top, so if people didn't get this far, they'll hear it at the beginning
Beautiful.
as well. Look in the camera, say one word or one phrase to end the episode as soon as I get off camera here. One word or one phrase.
Apocalypse.
In here, we pour whisk, 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 whisk.
You were that creature in the ginger beard.
Sturdy and ginger.
Like vampires, the ginger gene is a curse.
Gingers are beautiful.
You owe me $5 for the whiskey and $75 for the horse.
Gingers? Oh, hell no.
This whiskey is excellent.
Ginger. I like gingers.